Good morning, Kentucky. Depending upon where you're at, we have a tornado warning that has just gone active in the western portion of the state. So we're going to talk about that live here with you and get you kind of up to date here on what we're seeing. Let me go ahead and switch over to the main radar here. As you can see at the bottom portion of your screen, a tornado warning has gone live for Marshall County, Callaway County, and Graves County out in western Kentucky there. I want to make sure we are okay. Yeah, we are live. All right, perfect. If you would not mind, tap the share button at the bottom portion of your screen here. I know this warning is probably going to catch a few folks off guard, so help us by sharing the broadcast out and getting the information as spread out as possible. We appreciate your help with that. So thank you guys again for all the likes and shares that you may put onto this broadcast. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and talk about what we have here. So once again, we do have that tornado warning in that red box active for. Actually, I'm going to try to make that pink here in a minute. I'll do it in a minute. I'm not going to worry about it at the moment because that's supposed to be pink. But anyway, tornado warning is active for Callaway, Marshall, and Graves County. At 10:03 a.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Sedalia, or 7 miles south of Mayfield, moving east at 45 miles per hour. Of course, the impact is flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Murray around 10:15 a.m. Central Time. And really, it's more of a quasi-linear convective system kind of spin up here, so I don't think it's anything significant or violent. But of course, at the end of the day, a tornado is life-threatening and damaging either way. Um, it's not your classic kind of radar signature here of a tornado, but it is kind of more of that what we call that QLCS kind of spin up here, and you can see it when I pull up the drawing tool. See, ideally, this would be kind of a perfect line here, but you see kind of how it just dives in. Then you have this little notch out here and then a little notch in. So that rotation is probably somewhere within this vicinity around this circle, somewhere within that kind of area just east of Sedalia there. So what I'm going to do now, and listen, guys, I know there's going to be a lot of folks asking about, stuff going on in different portions of the state. Right now, we're going to cover that tornado warning, and when the tornado warning ends, we'll talk about what's going on elsewhere in the state. All right. Anytime there is a tornado warning anywhere in Kentucky, that area obviously gets priority at that point. So, again, I know there's going to be a lot of folks asking about what's happening in other areas of the state, but I just want to reiterate right now we're talking about the tornado warned area and getting that information to those folks. Once this does ease or end, we will talk about the forecasting information for the rest of the state and answer a few of your questions. But for now, we are focused on the area that's under a tornado warning here out in western Kentucky. So, what I'm going to do now is kind of zoom this bad boy out a little bit. Actually, it's kind of situated right there. And we are going to throw on this new feature out of WeatherWise here called Storm Track. We know that rotation is somewhere probably in here, and it's already auto detected. So now we can see. Why is it not showing on the anyway, I can tell you at least that it will be. It's not even showing any locations. Hold on, let me zoom in a little bit more. There we go. Let's do this now. Storm Track. Boom. Okay, to be in Stella, Kentucky in about 8 minutes. Penny, Kentucky in about 11 minutes. Almo in about 18 minutes. Shiloh in about 23. Hyco in about 26. Faxon, Boat. Are these really? Yeah, I've never heard of any of those cities those little towns out there. But again, if you're in that red box there, that is where that tornado warning is. I'm going to change that color real quick because that's actually supposed to be on pink, not red. It's supposed to match the color that you see on your screen there. So I'm just going to quickly kind of throw this on to like a little pinkish right here. I don't really know what happened with that or how that got over to red. We'll fix it up real quick. Oh, that's what happened. I think they introduced these intensity levels and then maybe something got reset. I don't know what exactly happened with that, but we got that. We got it kind of figured out now there. Now it should be much more easy for you guys to see and should match the color down at the bottom as well. But yes, we do have a tornado warning that has gone active for southwestern Kentucky. Again, you kind of see it there, kind of pointed out on your screen. I'm gonna turn off the storm track for a second here. Moving at about 45 mile per hour or so. It's not an overly aggressive tornado signature on the radar, but what you're kind of seeing here is more of like what I kind of talked about a second ago. It's what we call a quasi-linear convective system. That is the type of storm system we're dealing with today. If you didn't know, there are actually different types of storms that are out there. It's not just like, okay, here's a storm, here's, it's how the storms come in, how they look, how they're organized or disorganized, so on and so forth. There's different types of storms out there. And so what we're dealing with today is more of a weaker quasi-linear convective system, or commonly referred to as a QLCS. And in those lines of storms, you can get little pockets of rotation. That's why you have that 2% tornado risk today for all of Kentucky. Even though it's remarkably low, sometimes you can get these brief spin-ups. So you're not going to see, for example, let me show you a good example. First of all, pull Twitter over here, because you never know what pops up on Twitter anymore. But here is that tornado signature I posted the other night. If you saw us post it, you see how it's very bright, very, very vibrant. Obviously, there is something happening here that shouldn't be happening. It's very obviously a strong tornado. That's not what we're looking at today, at least on the current radar. It's obviously much different. You don't see those big, vibrant colors. See how it's more of a wall, and then you kind of have this notch out right here. That's likely where your tornado is living, within that notch out or just to the north of it. So it's not going to be any type of impressive, kind of blow you away violent tornado, but at the end of the day, a tornado is a tornado. I don't see any debris being lofted up here. That's good news, at least. I wonder how tall this storm is here. Not overly extremely tall. It's actually really close to the ground, and that matches up with the data today. The data for today, the reason there's kind of this, I wouldn't say enhanced severe potential, but there is this potential for stronger to severe storms today, is because the cloud deck, where the storms are living, is really close to the ground today. And a lot of times, again, you can get those brief spin-ups to occur because of something like that. Storms that are closer to the ground are going to be easier to spin versus storms that are taller. So, again, that's kind of why you have a little bit more of that oomph today, even though it's 11 o'clock in the morning. 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern time, 10 o'clock in the morning Central time, and people are wondering, how the heck are we getting a tornado warning at this time? Well, quite frankly, the temperatures and dew points are quite impressive for this time of day. The clouds are really low to the ground. These are moving southwest to northeast, which is usually pretty favorable for an event like this. We have a lot of wind energy out there today, which is ironically the one component that we've missed on the last two severe events. So if you think back to February 19th, to the event that we said may be severe, ended up not really doing anything. And then you think back to a few days ago, where we said, hey, we have the severe potential, but we're missing the wind shear again. And it ended up really not doing anything. Well, today, we really don't have a whole lot of storm fuel, but we have a lot of wind energy. And now we're seeing a tornado warning out of this out in southwestern Kentucky. So let's go ahead and pull back up the velocity here and take a look back in. And by the way, if you look at our camera, that's the camera out of Gage, Kentucky. So it's over here. It's the big H that you're seeing. Is the camera that you're seeing on the side profile there. Why is it spinning on OBS, though? It's working just fine on the control panel. Let's try that. There we go. All right. Perfect. Pull that back up here. Again, for those of you asking about what's happening in my city later on tonight, folks, guys, we've already done videos and posts on that. You can go check out those. For now, we're focused on the area that has the active warning. Once this active warning ends, we can touch base on what the rest of the day may look like. But for now, we're focused on the area that is under an obvious immediate impact here. So obviously, we would give your area that same respect as well as if it was your city. So again, just want you guys to know, once this warning ends or it becomes obvious it's not really a danger, we can talk a little bit more about what to expect for today, and we can go through the model data. But for now, we're going to focus on this area that we're seeing here. Also going to try, I don't know why, where is, I don't know why my screen's getting cut off there. I wanted to be able to show you the storm track. Again, I want to point out real quickly, this is the only portion of the line, by the way, that looks like anything significant. This is the post that we made a little bit ago as well. Let me pull that up. What did I do with it? Let me pull it back up over here. If you missed this post earlier, let me pull this back. We'll go back to over to our, if you don't follow us on X, by the way, you probably should, because that's the area where we post the most updates. Because it's just, the algorithm doesn't punish us for posting more. This is the post we made earlier. And you can see we actually almost perfectly nailed where that tornado warning would be. Now, obviously, I didn't know there was going to be a tornado when I made this map. I just had a feeling, like watching everything that we've watched today, watching this, I stayed up late watching this line go through Arkansas, Missouri. I got up about 6 a.m., was watching it again, and everything that I saw kept pointing me to this area of the line toward Murray. And then we have, of course, the mesoanalysis and the AI, which, by the way, the AI is nailing this. So this AI is also trying to point out that a tornado is possible just west of Murray right now. That's exactly where the tornado warning is. By the way, it's starting to look a little bit more aggressive here. Again, you're not going to get super kind of vibrant looks today on the data here, but there could I'm not going to say for sure, but there could potentially be two spin ups happening right now. We have one right here that looks a little bit what I call, for lack of better terms, a little bit naughty, and then you have this one here that kind of looks a little bit naughty as well. So there could potentially be two spin ups happening in this box here. I wonder, is the NWS pointing that out as well, or is that just something we're seeing here? I don't see it listed on their list here, but you see that the AI is also picking up on this threat here. It's showing up right now about a 50% chance that a tornado is likely occurring in that cell or that portion of the line. But back to the post we made earlier, I pointed out this southwestern Kentucky area because that's just basically where everything was kind of lining up. If you're everywhere else along that line, the line is actually weakening right now. So again, if you're actually anywhere else along that line at current time, outside of that circle in western Kentucky, the line is weakening. Now, as for that circle out there in eastern Kentucky, that is where we expect the line to start to kind of rise back up a little bit, right? We're getting a little bit more to the daytime heating. We're getting a little bit more into the better wind shear, better storm fuel. So we expect that line to start picking back up a little bit again over there toward eastern Kentucky. So that's the post we made at 10:40 a.m. And of course, now we have that tornado warning active out there in the western portion of the state for Marshall County, Callaway County, and Graves County. So is the storm going through Callaway County or what? Yeah, I mean, you're literally listed inside of the tornado warning. Do we need to go in shelter? Yes. So again, if I had to guess, for those of you asking, there's two pockets here that look like they may be rotating. It looks like it could potentially be this pocket as well as this pocket here. So again, just kind of off the top of my eye, this may go just north of Murray, more into the downtown area, probably just a little bit north of campus if you're at Murray State. And then you have this one getting closer to Hardin, not the county, but the city out there in western Kentucky. So there could potentially be two pockets of rotation. They're both heading to the east, northeast there, just maybe squeezing by to the north of Murray, but it's going to be incredibly close, incredibly close. I would get into your safe spots. You think it's an EF3? This is not an EF3. Uh, this would definitely not be that. I want to see something real quickly, if you guys don't mind. We're going to circle this spot here because there is a little bit of a correlation drop starting to show up right there. And then we're going to go back over here and see if it lines up. It does line up. So I'm getting a little bit more confident that this is likely, at least this northern one where I circled right here, this blue one is likely, is probably producing something. And then down here, I'm not really seeing a whole lot of evidence on the correlation chart that it's producing something, but it could still try and spin a little bit. Again, I want to reiterate for a lot of you folks just now tuning in here. Yes, we have a tornado warning active, and we are live on both YouTube and Facebook, by the way. If you're looking for forecast information on what to expect for today, that stuff has already been posted all over our pages. I urge you to go check those out and then come back in here if you'd like. For now, we're going to focus on the area that's under a tornado warning. We're not talking about what to expect for other areas for right now. When this tornado warning ends, I will touch base on what to expect for today, what the latest information is, what the latest SPC forecast is, and all that. But for now, we're going to give this area the respect it needs because, I would do this for your area as well. So we're going to focus on the tornado warned area right now. No other parts of the line look severe. This is really the only part of the line that we highlighted an hour ago that we're still highlighting now, and that is now tornado warned. So again, this is really the only part of the line as of right now that is producing something. Every other part of the line is just rowdy, it's just loud, it's just heavy rain. And that will be the case for most of you today. It will just be more loud and rowdy than anything. But again, for now, we're focused on the area that's under a tornado warning. If you're looking for what to expect for today, timelines, what the impacts are, I promise you, we spent all day yesterday, today, or all day yesterday, last night, and coming into this morning, prepping you guys on what to expect. So all that information is already out there. I'm gonna check in on other portions. I mean, you can just kind of see here other portions of the line. It just looks messy. Everything just looks messy. So if you look at this, if you look what's happening in Northwest Kentucky, Madisonville, Princeton, Calhoun to Owensboro, it just looks messy. It's just loud. It's got lightning in there. It's messy. It's a lot of loud thunderstorms. No severe really expected with that. If you look over here toward North Central Kentucky, by the way, Louisville, Radcliffe, Elizabethtown, Brandenburg, Owenton, LaGrange, Carrollton, just messy, very weak. These are actually cold pooling up here, which is a very good sign that these are absolutely weakening. So if you're up here in North Central Kentucky and you're hearing rain, wind, maybe a little bit of thunder out there as well, these are weakening as of now. Now these will intensify when they get out to Eastern Kentucky. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch that has just been issued. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. Turn that on here. There is that severe thunderstorm watch. Turn off the radar here for just 1 second so you guys can see this. I also want to get this posted here. I assume it's probably going to go into these areas as well. I'm going to wait for that to update a little bit more. Where exactly is that at? I want to see real quickly. I want to make sure this is done updating. What the heck? I don't think you guys want to see my Facebook. Okay, it is just those areas. That's really interesting. We have a severe thunderstorm watch out that does not include the area that's currently tornado warned. I mean, it makes sense. It's just ironic. Okay, let's get this posted out real quickly, so that anybody that is not in here can at least know that this is happening here. Again, we do have that tornado warning still active for the Murray area, so I'm going to scroll back in on here. I'm going to get this posted real quickly off to the side. Dude, why does this keep changing? Stay on the damn tab. It keeps going to different tabs. I don't know. It feels like something else is like controlling my computer. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Okay. Here in a second, once I get done posting this, we'll look at the probabilities within this severe thunderstorm watch area. So again, you guys can know exactly what's going on here. It looks like it's going to be for the potential for scattered wind gusts up to 70 mile per hour, isolated hail up to quarter size possible, and a couple of tornadoes possible as well. It's going to go until 5 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay. Just getting this posted out real quickly, guys. 1 second. Again, you should also see that watch scrolling across the bottom portion of your screen. If you're curious if you're included in that watch, it should be scrolling across the bottom portion of your screen there. If you do not see your county listed, you are not included in the current watch. And yes, it's probably inevitable that this gets expanded to the east later on, before anybody asks about that. All right. Thank you guys again for all the shares and likes on the broadcast, helping us to spread our information out. Thank you guys again for doing your part. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. But yes, again, I think it's inevitable. This probably gets expanded to the east at some point today. It's just you're going to see it go from the west first and then kind of spread to the east. That's how these always go. All right, let's look back in onto the watch or a warning here, and then we'll talk about the watch a little bit more. You can see kind of that bulge out once again toward Almo. Look at 62. So even if there's not a tornado occurring in here, right, you still have 62 mile per hour winds occurring there. You got negative 17 plus 62. So there may be something, a kind of a weaker spin up happening right now. Okay. Here is that severe thunderstorm watch read box here. Going to be proportions of western and central Kentucky and middle Tennessee until 5 p.m. Central Time or 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Primary threats include scattered damaging wind gusts up to 70 mile per hour, and a tornado or two is possible. Summary is a line of storms will continue northeastward across the region this afternoon with damaging winds as the most common hazard. The severe thunderstorm watch area is approximately long. I'm not reading all that. You guys kind of get what that is. Okay. We're not about to read all that. Check back in, and we're getting quite a few nudges out here now. We've got quite a few happening here. We got obviously this more bulky nudge out right here. Then we have one just south of Murray. Then we have one along the Kentucky-Tennessee border toward Hazel. And you're starting to see one up here toward Eddyville, just to the east. So we got a couple little nudges that are happening here. Really nothing up in the northwestern portion of the state there. Harley, thank you for the update on Murray. I appreciate that. Okay. Why are my thumbnails not saving? That's what's trying to irritate me. If you're behind the main line, you're mostly in the clear. Yeah, so you can kind of see that as well, by the way, right? So you have the watch that's sitting in front of the line. Look at where the watch stops. So you can always, this is a good hint for those of you wondering if you're in the all clear, not only this system, but any system really. Look at where the watch stops, right? It kind of stops right in here, which is in front of the line. So anything that's already behind this red area on the line here has already lost its severe potential. So I get a good like kind of cheat sheet on whether you're in the all clear or not. It really look at where you're at and look at where the watch is situated, right? Our storms almost always will move west to east. Now, sometimes they'll go north and south, sometimes they'll go south and north, but they at least always move west to east. So if the watch is in front of you and doesn't already include you, your severe threats pretty much never existed. So again, I think once you see this line go through areas, you'll also see this watch be dropped as that line gets through areas as well. I want to check back in on that portion of the line toward Murray, and let's see what's happening out here. So again, we still have a couple little nudges here. These little nudges, again, is kind of where that rotation can live, just inside of the nudge. Nothing overly crazy here. Still kind of looking around all of Kentucky as well. Lots of downburst of winds occurring, by the way, in Calhoun, Providence, Hanson, Madisonville, Princeton. See what those greens and reds, you would think, a lot of people would think this is rotation here. This is not. What this indicates here, when you see that line of red getting to those blotches of green like that, is mostly going to be downburst of winds. A downburst of wind is basically just a wind gust that's coming down from the line of storms. So again, this is likely going to be straight line winds that are happening in Madisonville, Princeton, Calhoun, getting up toward Cloverport, Whitesville, just east of Owensboro and Daviess County. So again, those are not rotating. So it's good you're avoiding anything tornadic at the moment. But those are absolutely going to be some stronger wind gusts that are happening. What do you think the warm part of the storm will end up in the future? It's really hard to tell with these. It's really, I mean, When you have this type of storm system, again, this is called a QLCS, a quasi-linear convective system. That's the type of storm that we're dealing with today. A lot of times these will spin up and then go back down and then spin up somewhere else and then go back down. Again, so it's really hard to tell exactly where that line is going to progress in the future when it comes to talking about where the spin up's going to happen. Just know if this continues on, it's heading east northeast. It will likely head up toward Cadiz later on, or however. I always say that wrong. Whatever, you guys get the point. This area here, it'll head up toward that area. These are moving basically east northeast at this point. Where is the Murray tornado? I couldn't tell you exactly where at on the ground there, but again, you see this purple box. It includes all the areas here. And again, if I had to guess, there's no camera or anything here, so we can't really tell at the moment. It's not a perfect signature, so sometimes they're really hard. But you have a little notch in here, right in the middle of Murray, just to the east of maybe campus there, and then you have this nice little wall right here. You actually have a little bit of a notch right in here as well. Can I please? Thank you. Kind of right there is where the little hand is. It'll probably cancel. I mean, there's only 7 minutes left, so I doubt they cancel it. Yes, this storm system near Murray is rotating. Yes, that's why there is a tornado warning there. Looks like after this, it looks like after the warning, they're gonna go to a severe thunderstorm warning. That's why you're seeing in yellow here. It just came up on the screen there from Marshall, Callaway, and what county's up after that? Marshall, Callaway, and Trigg County out eastern or western Kentucky. Wind gusts up to 60 mile per hour. Tornado possible tag on that as well, as you can see there. So it looks like after the tornado warning, they're going to go to a severe thunderstorm warning out there. You can tell where they think this is going to be because you see kind of so again, it's all about context. You see the polygon here, right? The polygon is in like an upside down L. It's leaving out this area. So that tells you that the NWS thinks that the portion of this line that is rotating is on this northern side. So with that said, it's likely going to be for this notch that's going in right here. Right? It's like they're actually identifying 3 different. We talked about that about 5 to 7 minutes ago. Remember, I said there might be 3 different spins that are happening here. You can see the arrows here, right? They're really small, so they're really hard to see, but you can see arrow here, just east of Murray, and the arrow down here. So remember, we actually talked about that 7 minutes ago, where there was one kind of spot toward the Kentucky-Tennessee border, one in Murray, and one just north of Murray, and that's exactly what the NWS is highlighting now as well. So looks like we're on the same page. Hasn't touched down in Murray or just rotated. I'm not there, so I couldn't tell you. And obviously we don't get reports in as soon as they happen. I can tell you on the radar, it was definitely rotating. Looks like StormNet AI is starting to pick up on a tornado chance up here just south of Eddyville and Princeton. Yeah, you can kind of see it already before I even zoom in what it's picking up on. See that notch just to the south of Princeton. See how it's kind of bulging? It goes out. That's exactly what StormNet's trying to pick up on. Let's take a peek in there. I don't see anything at the moment. That's good news there. But you can see what the StormNet's trying to pick up on. So you got StormNet here just to the south of Princeton, just to the south of Eddyville is where that kind of blue blob is starting to pick up. And you can see that's kind of where the storm line kind of turns a little bit. So you can see what it's trying to pick up on. Hades, thank you very much. I will try and remember that. I've had so many people tell me, and I can never remember. I've been driving around Murray. Haven't seen any tornadoes. Thank you for that report there. Like I said, I think if there was the more significant spot of rotation, if we kind of put this into motion and go back a little bit, you can see where the more significant spot of rotation would have been. It would have been to the north of Murray. It would not have been in Murray, Kentucky. It would have been just to the north here. You can even follow kind of that pink arrow there, kind of a little bit of a cheat sheet from the WeatherWise radar. If you follow that and go north, it would have been right here, just to the north of Murray. That tornado warning is going to be allowed to go until it expires in 3 minutes. And then, of course, again, this transitions to a severe thunderstorm warning in southwestern Kentucky. Yes, Wildland only has 2 minutes left on it. E-Town's in a severe thunderstorm watch. Explicit, thank you for becoming a member on YouTube. I appreciate that extra level of support. Thank you very much. In Northeast Ohio, oh yeah, we don't cover Ohio, my friend. Also, not sure why you would have warnings because there's not a warning act or a sirens because there's not a warning active up there. Again, for those of you tuning in just now, we did have a tornado warning for Murray and then back out to the west there in western Kentucky. That is going to be allowed to expire here. We're going to transition to a severe thunderstorm warning that you see in yellow. And it looks like the line is starting to wake up a little bit in other places. Not again, still not anything overly crazy here, folks. But I mean, as we get more toward the afternoon and that sun begins to come out a little bit more here, you're going to see this line start to wake up a little bit more and more and more as it gets a little bit more heat to work with. And that's kind of the reason that we're looking at this today. I will say, thank God, it mostly came in the morning because if a line like this with this much wind energy came in the prime time of afternoon, it probably would not have been pretty. It probably would not have been pretty. I mean, heck, we already see this tornado warning, right? And it started at 11 o'clock in the morning, Eastern time, 10 o'clock in the morning, Central time. So that kind of lets you know if this came in the heat of the evening, 4 to 9 p.m., it probably would not have been pretty out there. Just kind of taking a look around here. Don't really see anything overly aggressive at the moment. So we'll kind of get this kind of situated back onto here. And again, I want to remind you folks, when the front edge of this line passes you, your severe threat is over. For example, places Owensboro, Calhoun, almost Madisonville, almost Princeton, Paducah, Mayfield, Benton, Clinton, and western and northwestern Kentucky, your severe threat's already over. I also want to note that the SPC put, let's see here, they put that tornado risk into northern Kentucky as well. But I also want to know, like, it's definitely, that's not going to happen. And now, when you get closer to Maysville, maybe over toward Greenup, Grayson, maybe over toward Ashland as well, that's when I think the tornado odds maybe pick back up a little bit. But this is cold pulling up here, which means that these storms are weakening in northern Kentucky. So I really struggle to see that actually happening there. Almost, Karma Kitty, almost. An aerial flood advisory has been issued for Crittenden and Daviess, as well as, I mean, that's a large area up there in northwestern Kentucky. I think we have those turned off, but I'll turn it on real quickly for you. Is it that one? Just turn them all on real quick. Yeah, all these areas up here are going to get it. Yeah, so if we turn off, I can see it now. So if we turn off the radar, you can see it. So all those green areas are now under a flood advisory. Just the amount of rainfall that's coming down is impressive. The amount of rainfall today, and on top of the rainfall that we've seen the last few days, quite impressive out there. A matter of fact, let me actually, we will do this. That rain is falling hard here. Here is the let's just do 5-day. You can see, I know you can't see it perfectly on the screen because the browsers doesn't match up with what we have on our screen here. But you can see it's already approaching 4 inches up there in northwestern Kentucky, 4 inches along the Ohio River, basically. And you got another 1 to 3 inches coming today. You're talking about definitely the potential for running water. It is raining hard here. I live up here, by the way. Yes, I want to reiterate there's a severe risk for everyone in Kentucky today. So, very easy answer for all of you asking about what's happening in your area. There's a severe risk for everyone today, as you can see here, highlighted by the SPC. Everyone in the state is included in severe risk today. Matter of fact, that slight risk has now been moved up. And this is a brand new update, I believe, coming out right now, I think. Yeah. And it's because of the damaging wind potential. The damaging wind potential is really increasing. So now you've got pretty much everyone in central Kentucky included in that risk as well, as you can see here. E-Town, Litchfield, Bowling Green, Hopkinsville. Basically, where that severe thunderstorm watch just came out for is now included in that slight risk as well. I don't know why they didn't just kind of branch them together there. I understand why. It just irritates because it's my mind just can't. Like, why not just branch it together there and make it one nice complete yellow thing? But I understand why. But look how large this storm line is today, by the way. I mean, it is a large storm line. I mean, you're talking about going from Canada to Mexico. I mean, it is a large. Look how long. Take a picture of that. This does not happen often. I mean, you're stretching from Canada to Mexico on the storm line. Just think about that for a second. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna take a picture real quick because it doesn't happen often. I promise you, that does not happen often. I just kind of want to see how many miles that is. I mean, that is talking about something like that right there. 1,870 miles is what that is. Almost 2,000 miles of a storm line here. That is incredible. Incredible. I kind of wanted to kind of put some perspective on that there. I mean, it is incredible. So for those of you that are asking what's the risk in my area, just know this storm line's hitting all of Kentucky. Hell, it's hitting 90% of the U.S. in the eastern part here. So again, the answer is very simple. Damaging winds are the main priority for everyone. For everyone as well in Kentucky, there is also a 2% tornado risk. I believe it's everyone. Everyone except for this bottom corner. So you might as well just call it everyone at that point. So for everyone, there's the damaging winds, number one. Number two, a 2% tornado risk is possible. We've already seen probably one spin up out there just west of Murray. I don't think it's an overwhelming thing. I don't think tornadoes, again, are your main concern here. I think the main concern is going to be straight line winds. When you get a storm line this long and that expansive, 9 times out of 10, you get a wall of damaging winds with it. So again, that's going to be your main risk today. They're actually getting some sunshine out there in eastern Kentucky. Well, the storm in Princeton be what hits Muhlenberg? Yes. He's moving east northeast. Actually, I think they're starting to turn just based off I'm gonna turn some of these flood warnings off now because if it clogs the map, makes it really hard to see. So let's turn some of those off. Thank you guys again for all the shares and likes on the video. We appreciate that a ton. Again, that's how we grow, and it's also how we help keep folks informed. So thank you for doing your part and sharing the broadcast. We appreciate you a ton for that. Yeah, these are moving. They're kind of turning more east now. So also a little note of context here. Since these are moving east, you don't even have to be a forecaster to understand this. This is something you guys can pay attention to. Since these are moving east now, and we see where the watch is, right? The watch is here. Just it's in that pink area, right? We know it's also stopping here, right? That tells you that the NWS is not worried about this part of the line. So it's not worried about this area, right? What it's looking at is this line. That's a terrible circle. Oh my goodness. Also, let's switch to like blue. Blue is easier to see in a situation like this. What the NWS is looking at and saying has the severe potential is this line here. And eventually this line will do a little bit of this action. Okay. You can kind of just tell that's just, again, you don't have to be a forecaster to understand that. That's just looking at the radar and just seeing what is happening here. The watch is here, right? It's not here. And we see what storm line is associated with that watch area, right? We see that out here in this blue circle area. So we can tell which line the NWS thinks is severe and which line the NWS thinks is not severe. So again, kind of just some context for you if you ever wanted to kind of just use some cheats on looking at a radar. Eric, if you watch Max Velocity and Ryan Hall, what you doing in here, my friend? I'm assuming that's the line that's coming to Southeast Ohio. Yeah, this line up here would be the line coming to Southeast Ohio. The again, we only talk about Kentucky, but just there's a lot of Ohio people in here for whatever reason today. So first of all, hello to all of you. Up in Ohio, you're talking about this line here. By the way, you're not talking about this stuff. Just kind of a heads up. Just kind of a heads up. Again, I've just talked about this, guys. The risk is the same for everyone in Kentucky. Damaging winds the main priority for all of you. There is also a 2% tornado risk for all of you, which is, of course, the lowest on the scale, but it is on the scale. No rain in Murray. Yeah, you're getting toward a dry slot now. By the way, we still have that severe thunderstorm warning active just east of Murray, heading to Cadiz just south of it. Heading toward the Tennessee-Kentucky line here. 60-mile-per-hour wind gust, the main threat there, as well as a tornado possible tag on that warning. So definitely keep an eye on that portion of the area. I'm actually going to scan back through the radar here and see if we see any rotation anywhere. Whoa, what the heck? Shar, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships on YouTube. I appreciate that. To everyone that got gifted a membership, enjoy your experience with no ads. Thank you very much. I appreciate you, my friend. Okay, here are the probabilities coming out now from the National Weather Service here. You can see the tornado probability within the severe thunderstorm watch box is 20%. So again, not very high, but it's there. The hail is 10%, significantly low. The number one threat on this box is going to be wind at 40%. So essentially somewhere within this watch area, let me turn the radar off first for a second here so you guys can kind of see. There we go. That's a little bit easier to see for you guys. In that watch area, there's a 40% chance that somewhere in there, 40% of this area will likely see a damaging wind risk, right? 20% has a chance to see tornadic activity. So that's kind of how you read that a little bit as well. Is the timing still on track that you posted last night? It's pretty darn close. I don't know why I'm cussing so much today. I'm sorry about that. It's pretty darn close. I don't know what's going on with me. Here is the timing map we posted last night that we made. It's pretty close. You can see we had 12 to 2. So it might be, these storms might be coming in, depending upon where you're at, maybe a half hour or 45 minutes earlier than we kind of projected. So it's really close. The line is a lot more slanted than we thought it would be. I thought it would be a little bit more vertical. It's coming in a lot more slanted, and that's causing a little bit of the difference on timings as well. So as you can see here, this is kind of how the storm is slanted right now. See how it's a little bit more kind of in between, almost 45 degrees there, right? And if you go to look at the forecast, I almost made it to maybe 80 degrees on the axis. So that's the reason for the timing being a little bit off there. It's coming in a little bit more linear than I thought it would. The Murray, Kentucky area, again, that you're now all clear because that front edge of the line is past you. I haven't been keeping up with this, how strong are the wind gusts expected to be. Again, without the thunderstorms, wind gusts today have already been 25 to 40 mile per hour throughout the state. Inside of the thunderstorms, the potential up to 65 mile per hour winds is there. I think the watch has the potential up to 70 mile per hour. I think that would be a little bit aggressive. I think that would be crazy if someone saw that inside of Kentucky today, but I won't rule it out either because, again, we have a lot of wind energy with this one. Oh yeah, just he's starting to talk now. Is Kentucky safe? I mean, yeah, depending on which perspective. I don't know what you're asking, but there is a severe watch out for the central portion of the state, and eventually that will expand to the rest of the state as well in the eastern side. On a heroic mission on YouTube. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you, Katie. Is everyone just deciding to watch on YouTube lately? I'm just curious because usually, how many people? Yeah, usually Facebook beats YouTube on almost every live broadcast. But today, there are 190 viewers right now on Facebook, 790 viewers right now on YouTube. It's not even close. It's not even close. I'm wondering if people are starting to figure out that YouTube is the better viewing experience. It just is. Yes, unfortunately, you have to deal with ads on YouTube. I can't turn them all the way off. That's just kind of how it is. It sucks. That's what it is. But the watch experience on YouTube it's not even close. It's not even close. It's so much better, I think, in my opinion. I can do multiple things while on YouTube, way better experience. Yeah, and the stream just looks better, right? It's the same exact stream that's being pushed out to Facebook as it is on YouTube, but the stream on YouTube just looks better. I don't know what it is. Usually you have like I also think Facebook's playing with us too. Facebook wants us to buy that verification badge for like $500 a month, and what they're doing is they're suppressing our posts and our videos, so that way we think we need to buy that badge. I'm not buying it. That's too much money. I'm not buying that badge. All I can say to you guys, if you aren't seeing our posts or videos as much, make sure you go to our page on Facebook and you have notifications turned on and you have us set to a favorite. That's the only thing that can offset that. I hate that Facebook's doing that, but that's just how Facebook is. No, Somerset's not in the clear. Somerset still has a few hours till the storm line gets to you. Just joined. Is it supposed to weaken as it heads toward Bowling Green? No, it'll probably stay about the same as it is now, which is strong but not quite severe. YouTube is delayed. Yeah, YouTube's always going to be delayed by a few seconds, only because YouTube takes the time to buffer the stream, to buff the stream out a little bit, whereas Facebook just puts it out there and like compresses it. So it's all about what you want. The Facebook is going to be faster by a few. It's really just a few seconds though. It's not much. Is the rest of March looking severe potential for us? Oh yeah, I told you guys. I think we're in for a rough March. I mean, even just looking at this real quickly, you already see severe risk is posted for Wednesday, March 11th, which is 4 days out. If I go back to the 10th here, it's very close to Kentucky as well. I think you'll probably see one for the 11th, or I'm sorry, the 12th as well. Um, I mean, it's active. I told you guys last week. I think we're heading into a very active pattern to start March with, and that's we got lucky. We got lucky so far, I think, in Kentucky when you compare to what's happened in Indiana, Tennessee, Missouri, and Illinois. We got a little bit lucky here so far, but I think at some point our luck's going to run out. Yeah, I know seconds count, but there's nothing I can do about it. These platforms are going to compress or they're going to push out whatever they want. I have low latency turned on OBS and everything else. Uh, but I mean, they're going to do what they want to do. Like if you look at my OBS settings here, I have one of the higher qualities turned on and low latency. So it's as fast as it can get, as well as looking as good as it can get. Nothing I can do about that, my friends. Do you see the storms dying down before? Again, no, I don't see. Again, guys, everyone in the state is at a risk today. Look how long this line is. Look at it. I mean, look at this thing. Look at this thing. Canada to Mexico is how far this line goes. I mean, it's massive. Everyone in the state is going to see this line, and we're only going to be heading more and more and more into the afternoon. So there's really no reason this line should die down unless we see a bunch of rainfall jump out in front of it. A new severe thunderstorm warning has come out now for the Hopkinsville area. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, tornado possible tag on this bad boy as well. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Well, I don't see any rotation, but we do hit in KDs. We have a nice burst of winds there. 55, 59, and then you probably can add, 5 to 6 of that. So you're probably looking at about a solid 60-mile-per-hour winds in KDs right now heading toward Montgomery. And that will scoot maybe just a bit to the north of Hopkinsville there. Going to be very, very close. The good thing is, though, I don't see any rotation on this at the moment. Let's look at the other radar here, just get kind of a different perspective. Yeah, I don't really see any rotation there at the moment, which is good news. But I definitely that downburst of winds is definitely increasing. Now it's up to 64 mile per hour. So again, we're starting to see some of those big boy winds begin to come out. If you would not mind, again, I want to ask you guys, please share the broadcast because I think a lot of people, because of how weak the last couple of potential severe events went, they're not really paying attention to this one that much. So if you can help us by sharing the broadcast, getting it on your news feed so that your friends and family can view it, just helping us inform as many people as possible. If you're on YouTube, you can share and copy the link or however that works over there. I'm still trying to learn YouTube, but yeah, these wind gusts are definitely ticking up down here toward Cadiz. Let's go ahead and look up here toward Nortonville, Madisonville, where we have a couple of decent wind gusts here, but not quite severe. It looks like closer to 50 mile an hour. Looking up here to the northwestern side of the state, over here toward Owensboro and Cloverport. Not seeing a whole lot there on the wind gust at the moment. There is a lot of rain starting to develop here, though. So, in my opinion, sorry, I don't know what's happening here. I crushed a McDonald's for breakfast and it's trying to come back up. Okay. There's a lot of rain developing here. So my hypothesis here is that this area is probably not going to see that much of a severe risk. And I think you only see, for example, Hardin County, Nelson County. The only reason that you're included in that severe thunderstorm watch is probably for the southern half of those counties. Because it looks like it's going to be, yeah, this line here. That's probably going to be your more severe line as that moves to the east. Yeah, because this line looks dead. I'm going to tell you that right now. If this line up here reinvigorates somehow, I would be extremely impressed. But this portion of the line up here toward the northern half of Kentucky, it looks dead. There's so much cold pulling happening out there. Oh, wake up. Get this man a fillet of fish stat. Murray's clear. Yes, that's correct. Please look at Kentucky. I'm shaking my boots. Look at the screen, brother. The sun is out in Bowling Green. Yeah, little pokes of sunshine out there right now, especially east of I-65. Again, if you're just now hopping on here with us, I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with Weather Now Kentucky. We are tracking strong to severe storms moving throughout the state here. In this kind of pinkish area here is the severe thunderstorm watch that's out right now. Probabilities are low for a tornado, but they're not 0%. Very low for hail. The number one concern by far is straight line damaging wind gust potential, and this watch goes for another 6 hours. I do think that inevitably you will see this watch expanded into eastern Kentucky, probably matching the same kind of height here. So you just kind of follow the watch over to the east there a little bit. I'm going to check back in on this Hopkinsville cell, the cell that's approaching to the Hopkinsville area. Definitely still have some nice wind gusts here. Hopkinsville, if you're in that area, kind of a heads up. Looking like an easily 55 to maybe even 65 mile per hour wind gust happening in Cadiz right now, just south of it, and heading right into the, maybe going to head to the north side of Hopkinsville there. So just a heads up down there for you folks down there. And is that Christian County? I can never remember. Yes, Christian County. Finally got it. I don't know why I keep, I don't know. I don't know why I keep confusing that county down there, but I finally got it once. There it is. Christian County down there. 60 mile per hour wind gust possible in that area. Do I have a water in here anywhere? I need a freaking water. Don't you do it. Exactly, MXC, and that's why I always get confused. And people are like, "How do you not know where counties are in Kentucky?" Because you all share names. You all share names. Everyone shares names in Kentucky. It's hard to remember. For example, here's Hardin City out western Kentucky, and this is Hardin County. Like, give me a break. It's hard to remember. Okay, hang on. There we go. Yes, Princeton is good. I just saw your comment. Thank you guys again for all the shares and likes. Blah 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 blah. Thank you. Okay. Right now, it's still just the same portion of the area down here in Hopkinsville. How many villas in Kentucky? That should be a Jeopardy question. But you guys would be surprised by how many people get mad that I don't know where every single place or county actually is in the state, even though I live here. It's just it's hard. It's hard to keep up with. I mean, there's so many shared names inside of Kentucky alone. By the way, I got the camera out of Litchfield pulled up now, courtesy of Grayson County Emergency Management. Thank you to those folks for allowing us to use their camera. And hopefully, more folks get more cameras in the future. Is there another line coming? No. I mean, we'll have constant rain and thunder showers pretty much all day today, folks. But it's pretty much just this front edge of this line that's got the potential to be severe, as you see here. Also, I see a little bit of a notch occurring just east of Katie's. Let's check that out real quickly. Yeah, she's trying to do a little something there. She's trying to do a little something. But right now, it's still just straight line wind gust. Right, bordering kind of along 60 mph there. So just again, heads up, Hopkinsville. Let's see how long this has until this impacts your area here. Let's go ahead and throw the storm track on here. And let's see kind of how long we have until you have an impact here. Hopkinsville. By the way, this is a new feature on WeatherWise. If you throw the storm track on, it auto detects how fast the storm is moving. And now we know that the storm is, you can't see it on your screen, it's on the right side, but I can tell you the storm will be in Gracie in about 7 minutes, Hopkinsville in about 18 minutes, Fairview in about 30 minutes. That's where these severe winds are tracking to. Again, we are live on both YouTube and Facebook right now. Sunny and a little windy here in Nancy, Pulaski County. Yeah, the winds, even before the storms arrived, have been quite impressive today. I wonder what they've maxed out at. These are current wind speeds right now. I mean, 19 to 24. These aren't even wind gusts. These are wind speeds here. So definitely, I want to see what the max wind gust has been though. 24-hour maximum wind gust. Yeah, they have been rocking and rolling. Here, let's go to 3 hours to make sure. Yeah, this is within the last 3 hours. And we know there's no storms out there in eastern Kentucky right now. So these are all before the thunderstorms have even arrived. 35, 41 mile an hour, 37 mile an hour, 39 mile an hour. I mean, the winds have been rocking today. Rocking. And now we have a wall of winds starting to develop here. A little mini wall of winds, if you will. What was that? I think I'm going crazy. I thought I just heard someone screaming. But anyway, we have a nice little wall of winds now starting to develop. This is going to head again in toward Hopkinsville. So heads up to Hopkinsville. You got about 17 minutes until that wall of winds kind of gets to your area. So make sure you got your stuff secured outside. Hopefully you're already done that. And make sure that you're remaining indoors or off the roadways because this is some serious wind gusts heading into your area. Looks like about 60 mile an hour right now. You probably have a few hours, Chastity. Murray, Kentucky, your severe threat is over. Dude, I'm hearing stuff. I don't know what else to tell you. I need to get my brain checked or something. I'm hearing stuff right now. Okay. See, the only thing I wish that whether I don't know if they're watching, but if by the chance that they're watching, I wish this would update because right now I have to make a whole new one for that to update. So in Hopkinsville, you got about 12 to 14 minutes till it gets to your location. Fairview, you have about 25 minutes till it gets to your location on this little wall of winds here. 60 mile per hour or so happening in there. Let's check other portions of this line here. What is that? Yeah, we need to watch this one heading into Central City and Greenville. Let's keep an eye on that one a little bit. We've got a little bit of a notch starting to happen here, a little bit of a heavier reflectivity starting to come back to the radar in McNary. And if you look on to the velocity here, we have some brief, very broad rotation beginning to occur in that portion of the line. So that's a portion of the line that we need to pay attention to. Yeah, it's starting to get to a more favorable position on the outside, out in front of it now. Just kind of keeping an eye on that. Just kind of keeping a loose eye on that area. Do a little zoom out here for you guys. You guys, I'll put this in motion here for you for a second. You guys kind of see how that's moving. Is there actually a tornado? Because I'm worried. I mean, that tornado warning was about 30 minutes ago. So you're good now. How can hawks fly in the storm? I have no idea. There is only one conspiracy theory that I believe in, and this is not to start all you conspiracy theorists down a rabbit hole. I think birds are fake. I believe it. I believe it. I think birds are fake. That's the only one I believe in. Yep, Krista, you got some light rain for the rest of the afternoon, and that's about it. It's really just the front edge of this line that has the potential for some stronger severe weather. That's really it. So what's going on around Central City? Stronger thunderstorm about to move into your area here in about 20 minutes to 30 minutes or so. Are these storms going to gain more strength as they move into central Kentucky? I don't think they'll really gain or lose strength. They'll pretty much be what they are now. I was just about to say that looks like it's going to be going to destructive because that is definitely, yeah, 70 mile per hour winds. This is now a destructive thunderstorm warning that's now being issued for the Hopkinsville area. Again, you see that orange there, and it should come across your screen as well. Let me make sure this is working. Um, where the heck? Oh, okay. Let me test that real quickly. I'm going to test this for a second. Yeah, see, that's not a real warning. I was just testing that, but for some reason that's not updating. Maybe it just hasn't hit the server yet. But now we have a destructive thunderstorm warning here, or not destructive, I'm sorry, considerable damage threat on this thunderstorm warning here for Hopkinsville to Gracie. 70 mile per hour wind gust on this warning here. Very little hail, tornado possible in this warning. You can see this by when we go over here and measure. You see 68, 67, 70. So very close to 70 mile per hour winds now. So again, heads up, Hopkinsville. You have about 10 minutes until a considerable damage threat on this severe thunderstorm warning enters your area. God, try saying that fast a few times. I want to check back up here towards Central City again. Okay, I'm not really seeing anything up there now. It kind of went away. So again, yeah, we're still kind of just focused on this Hopkinsville area. Evansville, your threat's over. How do we donate? There's a super chat option on YouTube. Also Venmo and PayPal, but you guys don't have to do that. You guys don't have to do that. Times for Bowling Green, probably a couple hours for the main line anyway. About an hour, hour and a half or so, something like that. Yeah. I'm gonna remeasure this for you guys as well. So storm track. I want to remeasure. I wish we could get the cone to be a little bit wider here. Hopkinsville, it says you have about 7 to 9 minutes. Fairview, about 22 minutes. Hodgeville to E-Town area, I mean, it's already in E-Town. So Hodgeville would be very soon for you. So a lot of people asking about times, guys. We already posted that map here. It's already on our pages. You can go look at this map here, get a rough estimate on your timelines. Again, right now, I kind of want to focus on the warning here that's actually active for this damaging thunderstorm here. 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts. Once again, the main threat heading right into Hopkinsville here in Christian County. What is happening in Hopkinsville? Well, you have a severe thunderstorm that's moving toward your area in about 5 to 7 minutes that has 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts attached to it. You can see this box here. This is what this warning is for right now. Finally, Bo, only an hour late. I should have texted you sooner, but I figured you would have got the notification. That's just a test warning. I don't know why the considerable didn't show up. Let me text James real quick to see if make sure that's working real quickly. Ugh. Let me do this. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I want to text our graphics guy and see if we can't make sure that the alerts aren't working correctly. I didn't get the notification on YouTube and got it, and I have it set to all. Yeah, the notification systems on social media right now are it's still so bad. Really, Jay? You actually counted? Okay, let's get back to the radar here. And now that I got everything caught up here, thank you guys again for all the shares and likes on both the YouTube and Facebook this morning here. As we are approaching the 12:30 p.m. time frame here, Eastern time, we do have this damage or this considerably damaging thunderstorm warning here for 70-mile-per-hour wind gust going right into Hopkinsville in about 3 to 4 minutes there. Elsewhere across the state, just some strong thunderstorms at this point. Really, it's really only been this one portion of the line that's had a severe history. This same portion of the line, by the way, that's in Hopkinsville now, was in Murray and was back out just south of Mayfield, where there was a tornado warning an hour ago. So you can see that it's really just been this one portion of the line so far. Although we are keeping an eye up here toward Madisonville, Nortonville, Central City, Greenville. This portion of the line toward Livermore. It's starting to try and get a little bit of activity to it. It just hasn't really been able to organize and mature just yet. So we'll still continue to keep an eye on it. For now, though, it's still kind of lacking a little bit here. We definitely have a very nice, you kind of see how this is bulging out very evenly here. That does indicate a downburst of winds is occurring, or microburst, I should say. And it does appear to be that it's going to be about 60 to 70 mile per hour heading into the Hopkinsville area. So again, Hopkinsville, you have about less than 2 to 3 minutes until that gets into the central portion of the city there, you should be already indoors or off of the roadways because these will knock those vehicles around or potentially injure you if you're caught outside. 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gust is definitely nothing to play around with in the Hopkinsville area. I don't cover Tennessee, my friend. Is that portion of Hopkinsville heading straight for Bowling Green? It will eventually make its way to Bowling Green in about an hour and 15 minutes or so. Looking at the AI data here, the AI from StormNet is also picking up on the potential for a tornado within that portion of the line as well. You can see it lighting up to about 40% there. But if we go to the damaging wind risk, the damaging wind risk is obviously much more evident. It's at about a 80% chance for damaging winds heading into Hopkinsville. Also an 80 or about a 50% chance of damaging winds heading into Central City. So the two portions of the line that we just highlighted about a minute ago are the same two portions of the line that are starting to be highlighted by the AI data as well. So again, we're really keeping an eye on these two areas between Central City to Hopkinsville. That's really kind of what we're looking at right now. Everywhere else, really nothing close to severe. Really, we're just kind of talking about this area in this circle. This portion of the line is the portion of the line that it's, kind of going a little bit more toward the severe side here. Other portions of the line continue to just be strong thunder showers. Add a tune out since Murray has shown growth. No, it's more so just transitioned into more of a damaging wind threat. How Central City, again, just a strong thunderstorm there right now, not severe. Oh my goodness. Here come the allergies, dude. I even took an allergy pill last night because I knew it was going to happen today. Okay, let's say they just trimmed off the backside of this. It's still the same warning that's happening out here. 70 mile per hour wind gust in Hopkinsville. I can actually have the I want to see as this comes in. KY Mesonet. If the Kentucky Mesonet picks up the wind gust as this comes in, we're gonna keep an eye on it. I want to see if it picks it up. It does appear that the wind gusts are starting to weaken a little bit, but there's still definitely a nice notch, literally entering right into the heart of Hopkinsville right now. 60 to 65 mile per hour wind gusts heading right into Hopkinsville. What's up, Uncle T? Probably within the next 45 to 65 seconds or so. Again, you want to make sure you are indoors, remaining off the roadways because 65 mile per hour winds are enough to cause damages to you or your vehicle or your homes. It's going to go that might go right through the KHVC airport there as well. It's going to be extremely, extremely close. Is the line pretty much on track that you have for the timing? Yeah, Josh, that's pretty close. Maybe going 30 to 45 minutes faster than what we had. But it's pretty darn close here. Okay, here comes Muhlenberg County, Greenville. Their wind gusts are starting to kick up there, as you can see on the Kentucky Mesonet website here. Starting to pick up in Muhlenberg County, which is Greenville. Let's go and take a look at the radar there. That's that portion of the line, by the way, that we kept saying kind of keep a loose eye on. Kind of keep a close eye on that portion of the line there. I think that eventually is going to end up pushing out some 60 to 70 mile per hour winds itself. Weatherwise also has METARs on, so we can kind of look at this too. So these are the METARs right now. I wanted to see if right now it's showing 12 mile per hour just to the east of Hopkinsville. I want to see if that kicks up as the winds come through there. So we're keeping an eye on everything right now. Everything here. And Greenville winds have picked up. Does it look like it's spinning on the radar? No, I don't see any rotation there. It looks like straight line winds that are occurring in Greenville. What about Sacramento? Anything bad? Sacramento. You're going to have to give me a bigger city near you, my friend. I know it's in Kentucky, but I can't remember where. Again, we're going to keep the radar on to right here. We're watching between Central City and Hopkinsville right now. Hopkinsville, Those 60 to 70 mile per hour winds should be in your city right now. Use radar scope? Absolutely not. Huge weatherwise fan here. I literally have their shirt on today too, by the way. Allison, thank you for that report there. How long until the storm hits Bowling Green so I can go get my toes done? Probably about an hour. Is there any bad storm coming to Indiana? I don't think so because you are cold pulling up there. I want to see. Yeah. Window, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Sacramento is northeast of Madisonville. I knew it was close. It's right there in front of my face, isn't it? Yep. Yeah, your severe that should be done. Once again, want to remind everybody that may just not be coming in here. Once the front edge of that line gets past you, your severe window is done. Okay, because the front edge of the line is the strongest part of the storm. Once that gets past you, just look forward to several hours of rainfall and winds. After that front edge, your severe threat is done. Nada. No, I don't think Ratcliffe's in line for any severe weather. Yeah, guys, if you are looking for forecast information on what to expect, I encourage you to go look at our pages. We spent the last day and a half kind of prepping everyone on what to expect there. Right now, our purpose of being live is to cover the warnings that are actually happening. I can get to a few questions here and there, but your question will probably be answered faster if you go look at the information that's been posted to our Facebook. And we did a live broadcast on YouTube last night as well, so you can go check that out. On this METARS, is this winds or wind gust? That's just wind speed. I don't know if it's going to actually pick up the wind gusts. Hopkinsville, these 60 to 70 mile per hour winds look to be easing a little bit for your area, but should still be ongoing, especially just to the south of Hopkinsville as well. How bad is the Murray area going to get? Well, you already had a tornado warning earlier, and your severe window is done. Again, the timeline map has already been posted to our page as well for those of you asking about timelines. It's been downpours in northern Kentucky, but no wind really or anything. Yeah, I think your all's severe threat has to be done because it's just been raining too long there. From Greenville to Mayfield, just a lot of rain. A lot of rain and wind. I don't know how bad it'll get this way. Again, I think this line is going to be the same for pretty much everyone in the state, right? The damaging wind risk is the main risk for everybody. Everybody. Doesn't matter where you live at. Everybody in the state of Kentucky, all 120 counties, all thousands of cities, damaging winds are the main risk. And then everyone in the state also has a 2% tornado risk as well, which of course is extremely low, but it is present. So again, the risk is the same for everybody. It's just the timing is going to be different for depending upon where you live at, of course. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate you. Thank you guys again for all the shares, all the likes, all of your questions. We appreciate you guys tuning in so much. Hopefully you let your friends know about us. Any life-threatening stuff for BG? No, like I just said, I think it's all very low wind. It's the same threat for everyone in the state today, boys and girls. Because again, if you missed it, by the way, earlier, look how long. Holy crap. Hold up. I got to turn this off. That is so much happening on the screen. I just got overstimulated. Okay, there we go. Wow, that was a lot happening. But look at how long this line is. Stretches from Canada to Mexico. So everyone in Kentucky is going to see this line of storms. Now, it's obviously going to be a little bit different depending upon where you're at. But the damaging wind risk is the main risk for everyone. There's also a 2% tornado risk for everyone, pretty much, except for the far southeastern corner of the state. So, yeah, the threat is generally the same for everybody. That's why when you all ask us, I keep telling you all the same answers. It's not because I don't like you or anything like that, but it's the same line of storms. It's going to produce the same thing. Okay. Those winds toward Hopkinsville seem to be dying down now a little bit. Kind of surprised that the considerable threat is still on there, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Oh, hello. What you doing there, little buddy? Yeah, what you doing there? Doing there, little guy? What does the AI say about this? AI doesn't like it. And that's why I don't like AI. This Rockport area on 2 of the 3 radars here has a nice little bump in velocity. Yeah, on 2, it doesn't. The Louisville radar doesn't really have it. Oh, yep, there it is on the Louisville radar now as well. So on all 3 radars, there's a little bit of a bump in velocity here, just to the north of Rockport. I don't think it's going to be quite that fast. Beaver Dam, Rockport area. Just kind of keep an eye out. This may go severe here soon. It's going to be very close. It's going to be very, very close. By the way, there's the camera out of Litchfield, which if that portion of the line of storms towards Central City continues to kind of uptick a little bit, we should be able to see it on this camera out of Litchfield, courtesy of the Grayson County Emergency Management out there. Thank you so much to them for allowing us to use their camera. But yeah, if that storm continues to kind of stretch on toward Litchfield a little bit, we might be able to see a little something there from the HAZ cam out of Grayson County. I understand. What's your take on the 1 out of 5 risk for Michigan that got a major tornado? It happens. It happens. It's rare. We've had it happen here in Kentucky before. We've had a tornado occur in Kentucky when there's been no risk. My response to that. PG-13 right here. By the way, any kids listening, PG-13 right here. Shit happens. That's my response to that. I mean, you can't be perfect. You can't be perfect. The environment on all the data from Michigan last night did not indicate that much of a risk. The only thing that indicated a Michigan risk last night was the upper layer maps, but there really was no other evidence beyond that. So I don't. It happens. It happens. Elizabeth, thank you for the $10 donation on Venmo. I appreciate that, my friend. You did not have to do that, but thank you very much. That Michigan tornado did look gnarly. It did look pretty nasty. I will say that. It did look pretty nasty. By the way, if you're just now tuning in here, we still have that severe thunderstorm warning for Hopkinsville. The winds do seem to be dying down a little bit, so I think this will come back down to a regular severe thunderstorm warning. Right now, it's at a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. Up here toward Beaver Dam and Rockport, those winds have come back down there now as well. And right now, it looks like we just have a straight line of thunder showers moving throughout all of the state. Keep us out to a state view here for a second so you guys kind of see it. I'm on edge because of what happened in Michigan. Was that just a very rare event to have a strong tornado like that? It was extremely rare. It was extremely rare. I mean, it happens. That's all I can say is it happens. It was extremely rare. And it was really up in Michigan. It was really just that one tornado, and then that was it. If you guys were paying attention, of course, that one tornado gets obviously the headlines as it should, but it was really just that. And then I think there was like 1 or 2 more severe warnings, and that was it. It wasn't like it was some type of huge major outbreak up there. What it was a storm that caught on to a little bit of steam, and it just ran over an area that, literally a 5-mile area that just had a ridiculous amount of shear with it and a little bit of storm fuel, and it just really maximized its potential and then some. It's really rare what happened in Michigan last night. Extremely rare. Doc Charles, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm in the basement in Greensville. I don't think you really need to be in the basement in Greenville. I mean, the front edge is already kind of past you. You're good to go there. What was the outlook map for yesterday? 3/6/26. Yeah, they had a 1 out of 5 there. Okay, okay, look at this, though. Look at this, though. I'm gonna pull this up over here. So this is something that not a lot of people. This is what I thought. This is where the confusion is coming in for Michigan. By the way, guys, for everyone wanting to know, this is where the confusion is coming in. The SBC changed the way they did outlooks. Okay, and right now it just went into effect 4 days ago. So it's still confusing a lot of people. A lot of people still trying to learn it. Yes, there was a 1 out of 5 there, but if you look on the tornado risk map, there is a hatched zone there. There's a hatched zone there, which means there is a 2% chance and an additional 2% chance of a significant tornado occurring. That's what that hatch means. So actually, the NWS nailed it because there was only one tornado up there, which is about a 2% chance. One tornado occurring is about 2%. That's what we saw today in Murray. Okay. And that one tornado that did occur was significant. It's a perfect forecast. It's a perfect forecast. So actually, for those of you that are being scared or like kind of hesitant to trust the SBC after last night, they freaking nailed it. I couldn't have even done that. They nailed it. So again, I mean that's why they are the experts. So I thought that was interesting. I thought that was interesting, and a lot of people are kind of overlooking the fact that they nailed that thing. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Back onto the radar here. Let's go ahead and take a look back into Hopkinsville, where there are still some decent wind gusts occurring. I'm going to turn the tilt a little bit. Yeah, it's still some, we got 62, 60, 55, about 55 to 65 mile per hour winds occurring just to the east of Hopkinsville, now heading toward Honeygrove, Pembroke, maybe up toward Fearsville as well. Let's go ahead and head up here toward Central City and Greenville. Nothing happening there. Let's go ahead and head up toward Hartford a little bit. Nothing happening there as well. Maybe a little bit of a notch. Still kind of keeping an eye on that Beaver Dam area. It's still not doing anything yet. It still has not matured yet. But it's trying to do a little something there. But for right now, still the only spot that remains severe is this Hopkinsville area. That's correct, Biker. Pet, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Katie's is clear. Yes. Bowling Green's at the same risk as everyone else today. Mainly damaging winds is the main priority concern. 2% tornado risk as well. Yeah, but I hope going through that map from last night about Michigan helps everyone kind of ease up a little bit, because I did see a lot of people kind of roasting the SBC last night on Twitter. And now that I look at the map, I don't know if they could have made a better forecast. Zoe, thank you for your 99 stars. I appreciate that. You can see the AI data is now starting to back off of the tornado threat. See those colors went down. Hey, Lexi. Yep, everyone's okay. We've had one tornado warning so far. Back over here toward Murray and just to the west here toward Farmington. Up there toward your neck of the woods, not really a whole lot happening. Just loud rumbles. Will this be coming through? But you think it's already coming through. And it looks like the main portion of the line is probably about 20 minutes away or so. It just looks to be strong and annoying at the moment. Not quite severe. Possible, yeah. Darby, yeah, that's probably EF3, EF4. You think they removed the hatched in Michigan before? Well, that was the latest outlook from that night, right before the storms happened. So I don't think that's the case. Still growing a little thunder in Paducah. Yeah, you'll still have some thunder showers even after the main line there. Nothing to be too overly concerned about. What's the name of that AI model? It's StormNet. All right, Tim, have a good one, my friend. I have storm anxiety bad and live in a mobile home in Lawrence County. Yeah, definitely mobile homes. If you're in a mobile home today and you find yourself in one of these severe thunderstorm watches, make sure you have a backup plan because even some 50 to 60 mile per hour winds can cause damages to mobile homes. So you got to be a little bit more careful in those places. Howens Owensboro, just some thunder showers at this point. No severe threat. I'm driving to Evansville right now, about to pass through it. What are the wind speeds looking like? Probably 25 to 40 mile an hour off and on. Not anything too crazy. I got you, Lexi. Thank you very much. James, what is that name? I'm so sorry. J- J- I'm going to butcher this. James Lynn? I'm just going to say it real simply. Thank you for your 20 stars. I appreciate that. Sorry if I absolutely butchered your name. I got what you meant, Jana. When is the severe spot, or what is the severe part supposed to be over? Tequila asks. Whenever that front edge of the line gets past you. So once you get to that front edge of the line, it lasts about 20 minutes, and then it's done. Then you're just with rain showers the rest of the day. So not an overly long severe window here. Good morning from E-Town. Don, good morning to you, my friend. E-Town looks like it's going to get quite windy. Yeah, you got a nice little thunderstorm starting to move through that area. I want to take a look at the radar up there, make sure nothing's. Yeah, nothing at all. Way too messy up there. Let's check back in on the velocities down here toward Hopkinsville. Fairview, Pembroke heads up about 55 to 60 mile per hour winds starting to head into your area now, and that area of southern Kentucky there. Let's take a look back up in here toward. Yeah, still kind of keeping a weak eye on that Hartford Beaver Dam area just to the east of it now. Still a little bit of mischief happening there, but nothing too crazy at the moment. Just kind of something worth keeping an eye on. I don't cover Tennessee, my friend, so I have no idea. Nina, good afternoon to you, or good morning, depending upon which time zone you're still in. Storms do have appeared to weaken some. They're still about the same, right? Because you still have this one portion of the line that's still producing a severe warning that it has been for the last hour and a half. But in every other portion of the line, it's still pretty much the same as it was an hour and a half ago. There really hasn't been any weakening or strengthening. Severe thunderstorm warnings now come out for Christian and Taw counties in Kentucky. This is going to go back to 60 mile per hour winds. It's for those same areas that we just mentioned, by the way, Pembroke to Fairview, and then eventually it'll head into Elkton in about 20 to 30 minutes or so. So again, that severe thunderstorm warnings now come back down to 60 mile per hour winds. It was at 70 mile per hour winds there, but Fairview to Pembroke now in that warning, heading over toward Elkton for 60 mile per hour wind gust there. And if you're wondering why we're not looking into northern Kentucky a whole lot from our northern Kentucky friends up there toward Mount Olivet, Maysville, so on and so forth, these storms have mainly been very, very cold pulled most of the day. So really, there hasn't been much of a concern up here. But I will take a quick peek into what's happening just to make sure. But it's still looking like not a whole lot's happening. Maybe a few rumbles of thunder over there toward Maysville. But really not a whole lot happening up there in that portion of the state. And that's why we've been kind of focused on the southern half here where we've had severe warnings. But for our friends up there in the northern Kentucky area, if you haven't seen your part or your portion of the state on the map too much today, it's because there really hasn't been anything happening there. But if anything does start to happen, we will keep a closer eye on it. Is KD's clear? Yes. Cassie, thank you for that update there. I'll keep an eye out. Bowling Green got about an hour or so ish till this line gets to your area. Damaging wind risk, the same as everyone else in the state. 2% tornado risk, not anything too crazy. Put hot dogs in your pocket so the search dogs find you first. That's actually a good tip. Never thought about it that way. I've never thought about it that way. Yeah, I foresee that this watch will likely be expanded at some point because I believe they just issued a discussion on it. Yeah, yeah, it will likely be issued again at some point. But here is the look at the box for the discussion though. By the way, here are the odds of something may be occurring today. If there is a tornado today in Kentucky, the peak intensity would be less than 95 mph, which means that it would be an EF0 tornado if there is one to occur. Peak wind gust would be 55 to 70 mph. So again, that just continues to show you that the damaging wind risk is the main risk today. If there is a tornado to occur, it would be of the weaker variety. Brandenburg, your severe threats no longer existent. That's correct, Nia. Thank you, Rich. We appreciate that. Again, those of you just now tuning in here, we do still have the severe thunderstorm warning out here just to the east of Hopkinsville, heading toward Pembroke and Fairview and Elkton for 60 mph wind gusts. A severe thunderstorm watch is active in this darker kind of pink contour here, or deeper, I should say. And this lighter kind of contour here is where a new watch may coming out in the future. Again, for the same parameters, mainly damaging winds and the potential for a spit up tornado of a weaker variety. So again, you can kind of see here for yourself, everyone in the state pretty much at the same risk here. So it helps to answer your questions very easily. It doesn't matter where you live at. I don't even know why I still have my headset on. Don't look at my headset, Dent. On the hook over there, dude. But again, you can kind of see here for yourself. The main risk is damaging winds for everyone, and it pretty much exists for almost all of Kentucky, unless the line has already passed your area. Macy, thank you for your 99 stars. I appreciate that so much. Dude, what bird is outside? There's a bird just sitting on the car outside, just screaming. Go scream somewhere else. Think they'll cancel the watch for most of West Kentucky soon? Yeah, probably. I wouldn't imagine they would leave it up for that much longer. There's really no threat up there. Once the front edge of the line passes you, there's really no threat at that point. I want to see if those peak wind gusts ever came up. Peak wind gust. Yeah, they started to go about there. Same areas. Yeah, Cadiz, Hopkinsville, Muhlenberg County. Look up here to northern Kentucky though. Still, even before the thunderstorms arrived, they were dealing with some decent wind gusts up there. The AI is starting to try and pick back up on a spin up chance. Let's go ahead and check back in on the radar here. Not really seeing a whole lot. Not really seeing a whole lot on the velocities there. Just a messy day of storms. Just a messy, messy day of storms. Remember, birds aren't real. They can't hurt you. He's just out there screaming. Why isn't the discussion for the entire state? Why is Eastern Kentucky excluded? Because there's no severe risk out here. There's no severe risk out here today. Even on the outlook from the SPC, you're not included. See, I mean, you're included in the 1 out of 5, but not in the tornado risk or even the wind risk. So the risk out there for severe weather is extremely low. Extremely low. That's why you're not included. I wouldn't say it's 0%, but I would say it's extremely low. Yes, Madisonville is clear. Malin is locked in on the broadcast. Heavy rain and wind in Muhlenberg. Thank you, Jackson, for the update there out of Muhlenberg. North Kentucky, if you're talking about this area, it's already started for you, and you've just had way too much rainfall for any real severe weather to present itself. We are starting to see some more pop-ups beginning to occur out here towards Cynthiana, getting out there toward Lexington, Nicholasville, Mount Sterling. So we'll keep an eye on those as well. How do you think things will be in Sonora? Just like the rest of the state, damaging winds the main priority. 2% tornado risk there as well. Same thing for the London and Corbin area. Same thing for Scottsville, guys. The threat's the same for everybody. So you're all going to get the same answers. Love you to death. But you're all going to get the same answers because it's the same storm. Decepticons equal birds. Thank you guys again for all the shares and likes on the broadcast. Thank you for helping us grow and for helping us to spread the information out and keeping folks safe and informed. You guys play a big role in that. So thank you guys very much for taking the time to share the broadcast out. Okay, the AI is starting to really hone in on this Hartford to Beaver Dam portion of the line, which is something I've been watching pretty closely as well. It's been getting closer. It's been trying to do something out there, but it just hasn't been able to take advantage. I don't know what the let's see here. There's really hardly any helicity out there at all. Let's look at the wind shear is really lacking behind now. The better wind shear is out to the west. I don't know. Does it have any vorticity to work with? No. Any cape? Yeah, a little bit there. Not a whole lot. A lot of negative storm energy in the upper layer here. So we might start seeing a lot of rain develop. I don't know. It's all really close. I feel like we've had a lot of really close calls this spring already. Actually, technically, we're not even in spring yet. We're in meteorological spring, but that's about it. But we've had a couple of close calls in these events so far. No, there's really no health threat today. It's like 5%, I think. Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate that. Thank you, Fiber. Yeah, Aaron, I wouldn't even really consider this one a bust, right? I mean, this was a 1 out of 5 risk for much of the forecasting timeline. It just now went up to a 2 out of 5. We've already had a tornado warning. We've already had a considerable damage threat, severe thunderstorm warning. We've already had 3 other severe thunderstorm warnings as well. So even though, I mean, I wouldn't consider this one a bust. This one's kind of gone pretty much as I thought it would go so far. Thank you, Prepper. We appreciate that. What in the? You not know how to work the door handle? Scare the crap out of me. I don't know what was happening. Yeah. He hasn't gone on the camera yet. No. Come here, baby. Whoa, that's a big girl. You see that? You see everything? You see everything there? Everyone say hi to Malin or your band. George, what is the see-through purple? That is the new discussion that may be coming out for a watch here soon. Yeah, what's up? Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Yeah, what's up? Oh, honey, here, let me fix her. Were you crying? Or is that just a raindrop? That's just a raindrop? That's just a raindrop? My little chunky butt. Oh, come here. Yep. Say hi. Say hi to everybody, Melee. Oh. Say hi. You have to put her that close. Dude, she's so heavy. She looks just like me. Oh, you poor girl. You working with Dada today? You working with Dada today, huh? You gonna clock in? Someone has your hairline. Who said that? Sorry, George, but she has your same hairline. Please don't block me. Blocked. I'm just kidding. How is she so big already? Because she genuinely will not stop eating. Genuinely will not stop eating. By the way, guys, the line still looks the same. We're not really missing a whole lot with the baby time at the moment. You're not really missing a whole lot. Is her name? It's Malin. MAE apostrophe LYNNE. Okay. You want to say bye? You want to say bye? Say bye. Take it back to work. You gonna clock in? Ali. Is it raining out there, baby? Is it raining so hard? What you laughing at? You see all the lights? You see all the lights? Hi. Yeah, it's a metal roof. Okay. Back to work, shall we? No, you're cool. You're cool, Jay. Yeah. I don't know where her hair's at yet. The poor girl. That poor girl. Okay. Yeah, she's cute, but she farts a lot, so y'all didn't see that part. Bye, honey. I'll be there later, okay? My rain jacket's over there if y'all want to use it. Just throw it over her. My weatherwise jacket. Ew, you all just missed a nasty burp. Okay. I love you. Be careful anyway, and that deck's gonna be slippery. I gotta get some more grip tape on that deck. Okay. Make sure we didn't miss anything here real quickly, and then we'll get back to the comments here of you all roasting me. Nothing. Let's go down here. Nothing. Even on that severe warning, I don't really see a whole lot there. Yeah. Look up here again. Nothing. Let's look up at Northern Kentucky real quickly. Eastern Kentucky. Okay, no, yeah. Everything's good so far. Everything. So we didn't miss anything with the baby time. How old is she now? She will be 5 months on the 12th, which is crazy. But yeah. All the way to 20 years old now, her hair is thick. Of course, she still does at 40. Someone made a post saying the sale moving into Hardin County is strengthening. Maybe a little bit. I mean, it's definitely pouring. Wow, it is pouring out there. Nah. I mean, it's a little knots right there, but I mean, if you've got to look that hard at something, I am interested though, because this is pretty much, if you kind of see here, guys, this is pretty much a straight line. Pretty much a straight line here, moving into Hardin County. So probably going to sound a lot worse than what it actually is out there at the moment. Elsewhere, yeah, everything still looks to be pretty tamed at the moment. Here. Wow, look at this. Hang on here. Did I just see that correctly? Nice little shelf cloud starting to roll through to Litchfield there. Indicates an unstable storm, but not quite severe. I think that's a shelf anyway. I can hardly tell anymore, I swear. Got a little... see here. Yeah. Yes, Katie's has no risk. Yeah, so what we're seeing on that camera right now is definitely a little bit of outflow or cold pulling starting to happen there from a lot of the storms that are happening around it. By the way, what we're looking at on the camera there is out of Litchfield, courtesy of Grayson County Emergency Management. So thank you to To those folks who are investing in the camera and helping to save the lives of their county there and allowing us to be able to use it as well. So looking to the west is looking right at this cell that's currently there. You can see that sheet of rain if you look very deep along the tree line there. You see that sheet of rain that's happening there. How much does she weigh now? I don't know. Her next appointment is on Monday, so we'll find out. But she's got to be getting close to 20. I mean, she is heavy, very, very center massed. She is heavy. What about that temp change? It was getting hot as heck earlier. Now it's getting cold. Yep, it's a cold front coming through. That's why we're dealing with this. Definitely going to notice a fall off of temperatures. By the way, here is just kind of show you real quickly. Here are the temperatures. You can see where the storms have been and where they haven't gone yet. I mean, a solid 20-degree drop as soon as those storms come through. And that is why, by the way, your severe threat ends when that front edge comes through, because your temperature, I mean, everything, it just took everything out of the environment. Is that rotation southwest of Clarksville? I haven't seen any rotation. I've looked through several times over the last 15, 20 minutes. I haven't seen any rotation anywhere. T-Roy, thank you very much for that update there. How's Louisville looking? Looks like just a strong thunder shower at the moment. Not severe. Sirens are going off in Muhlenberg because they scheduled 12 p.m. testing every Saturday. What? I mean, I don't mind the testing, but to do it on an active day like this, that where there's literally a tornado risk posted, seems a little naive to me. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of reports of these sirens in Central City, guys. There's no active threat in Central City. Matter of fact, your severe threat is over. When do you think it'll hit Danville? Probably have a few hours, unless you get one of these pop-ups to occur over there. By the way, we're looking at the camera out of Litchfield once again, courtesy of Grayson County Emergency Management and those folks there. Thank you to them for allowing us to use their camera. See, there's a beautiful rolling cloud there moving in. Again, these clouds here indicate that there's some cold pooling happening. Or what is that? Okay, no. I thought I saw something, but there's nothing there. But this indicates that there's some cold pooling happening or an outflow boundary starting to spark, which definitely just means that these storms are kind of just rain dominant at this point. Morgan, thank you for your 530 stars. I appreciate that a ton there. Thank you so much. Man, it is pouring rain here. Oh my goodness. All right, let's go back over to the actual main screen here. Because where I was going off. Yeah, there's no threat. And matter of fact, the severe window is done in Muhlenberg County. Clouds are moving pretty fast over Franklin. It seems a bit cooler out than it was a few minutes ago. Yeah, you got a little pop-up rain shower starting to go there. Sirens are going off from Russellville at 12 every day. I wonder why that is. Maybe they're working on something down there. Is Somerset okay? Yes. Oh my goodness. It is just dumping rain here. I live up here, by the way. So if you all can hear that rain in the background, I'm sorry about that. There's nothing I can do about it. But it is dumping rain outside. Jeez Louise. Definitely some wind starting to kick up there. Hang on. If you've ever heard the saying, it's pouring cats and dogs, that's what's happening outside right now. It is just dumping rain. Again, everyone, a lot of new folks coming in here now. Again, the risk is the same for everyone. You kind of see it outlined in these kind of colored areas here. The risk is the same for everyone, guys. Damaging winds the main priority as the main concern there. There's also a 2% tornado risk for pretty much everyone in the state. Obviously, that is very low, but it is still on the scale, so we have to pay attention to that. But the damaging winds are going to be your main concern today throughout all of Kentucky, pretty much, except for this southeastern corner, if you will. Yeah, Adrian, the storm line will strengthen a little bit as we get into the afternoon and it gets into those areas that had some sunshine today so far. But I don't expect any like rapid strengthening. Yeah, Charles, it's going crazy here. Samantha, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Hey, George, what time do you think this rain will hit Eastern Kentucky? That just depends on where you're at. We have a timing map that's been posted on our page, so if you know where you live at, you can go check that out and get a general estimation of kind of when to expect the storms to arrive. I want to check back in on that camera out of Litchfield if you guys don't mind. Just kind of see how these storms are. Again, this is the HAZ came out of Litchfield. Is that moving? Yeah, it is. I couldn't tell if it was or not. Again, a lot of these rolling clouds kind of indicate, some of these kind of messy clouds kind of indicate some cold pooling or some outflowing is occurring, which can indicate a little burst of winds, but it also more so indicates that it's mainly a rain dominant storm. It's not really doing much more besides just some rain or heavy rain and some thunder potentially as well. Again, Taylorsville is the same thing as everyone else. Again, damaging winds, the main risk, 2% tornado risk there as well. I'll put the radar in motion for a brief moment. I don't like putting it in motion too long. Dude, I can hardly hear myself think. It is just pouring so heavily out there. It is so loud. Okay. I want to check back in on the actual radar here. Definitely a nice wall of winds heading into E-Town. Probably about 40 to 50 mile per hour or so. It sounds rugged outside. I'm going to turn on special weather statements for a second because I want to see. I'm sure there's one here. There's not even one here. That's crazy. All right, turning those back off now. I don't like special weather statements. You guys know that. But I think there is a world where they're useful. Are you expecting the watch to expand? Yeah, where this area is, that's highlighted over here where the watch currently is not at, it will definitely expand to that. How's Mount Sterling looking? Again, same thing as everywhere else. Damaging winds, the main risk there. 2% tornado risk there as well. I mean, it is just dumping rain out there. I'm gonna refresh the radar here for a second. Okay. I always like to do that every once in a while. Okay, let's see here. Let's go check back in. Straight line winds, straight line winds, straight line winds, straight line winds. What is that in Russellville? Oh, that's just a radar blip. Straight line winds. Check up here in northern Kentucky. Straight line winds, if anything's happening there. Straight line. Yeah, no rotation anywhere right now. That's the good news. No rotation anywhere at the moment. Everything is either straight line or nothing. Genuinely curious, why don't you like special weather statements? I think they just get issued too much. I think they just get issued too much. I've seen special weather statements for like 40-mile-an-hour winds, which I think is just I kind of I see the vision. Let me be careful because I see the vision. I see why they have a role. But I think it can cause warning fatigue. And warning fatigue is basically when you're just constantly warning everything. Uh, Sometimes that may not need to be warned. Um, and I think it could just cause warning fatigue. I think it gets abused a little bit in some situations. Like we've had some snow systems where special weather statements have been issued, not necessarily by our areas, but just anywhere really. Um, where it's either okay, it's either a winter weather advisory or it's not. Because why are we issuing a special weather statement for a dusting? You know what I mean? I think it just causes warning fatigue. Because I've seen several people when the special weather statements first got issued, a lot of people thought of them as severe warnings, but they're not. It's just to kind of tell you, hey, it's either a strong thunderstorm or hey, there's a chance of a dusting of snow or anything like that. But I think it's just something's either life threatening or it's not. You know what I mean? That's what the severe warnings are supposed to be for. It's supposed to be like, hey, this is going to be life threatening, or hey, this can damage your property, or hey, this can damage the environment. Something is it's not proprietary. It's not binary. It's binary. It's either it's there or it's not. You know what I mean? So that's always been my perspective on it. I see the vision. I see the role. I see why or how they could be useful. I just think the cons may outweigh the pros. Timing for the severe threat to be over in E-Town and Greensburg. It's really just once that front edge of the line gets past you. Once that front edge of the line gets past you, which usually you'll know because when it hits you, it lasts about 20 minutes, and then you'll start to hear some of it kind of weaker and kind of start taming down. Like right now, in Ratcliffe, it's starting to tame down a little bit. That front edge of the line is past me. My severe threat's over. That's really it's determined today. So typically for today, once you hear it get rowdy, you got about 20 minutes, and then your severe threat's over. That's correct, Josh. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Storm fatigue is 100% real. Yeah, it just like I said, I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't see it as a negative. I just see it as like I see the vision. I can see how it could be useful. I just think it's not worth it because usually if something is a special weather statement, right, it's not dangerous, right? It's not severe. It's not life threatening. It's not environment threatening. So why are we warning about it? You know what I mean? It's just that question. It's like why? Not getting any hard rain where I'm at, E-Town. Yeah, it'll be there. Wherever you're at, it'll be there eventually because you got all that red that's going to come through there. So inevitably, you will see it. Thank you, Spunky. I appreciate that. I'm not sure where Drakesboro is, my friend. You have to give me a bigger city near you. Okay. Wow, I can definitely tell the temperature dropped outside because it's definitely cooler in here as well. Yeah, already went down to 60. We were just at 73 10 minutes ago, I think. Something like that, maybe 20 minutes ago. It definitely feels cooler inside of here. I was starting to get warm. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was flirting with turning the AC on. We still have that warning, by the way, down here for Elkton heading into Russellville. Um, but I've checked it a few times and it hasn't looked like a whole lot in the last 10 to 15 minutes. Checking again though, just to make sure. Yeah, just not seeing a whole lot throughout the velocity radar here. Yeah, just not seeing a whole lot at the moment. Thank you, Megan, for that 100 stars. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Like 7 minutes from Central City, you said? Oh, if that's the case, then yeah, your severe threat's by far over. Oh yeah, I see. Yeah. Again, once that front edge of the line gets past you, which is obviously all this red and yellow here, that's moving east. Once that gets past you, you're pretty much done with a severe threat. Of course, you're gonna have to deal with rain for the rest of the day. That's just how it goes. But severe threat anyway, pretty much done at that point. Can that Moorhead camera see that storm? Man, that would have been cool if it was a little bit higher, maybe. Thank you, Jane. I appreciate that. Will Bowling Green, Kentucky get a tornado? That's impossible to answer. All I can tell you is there's a 2% chance. Oh, yeah. Good point out there. Someone said look at the camera. Again, look at the camera out of Grayson County, Litchfield to be precise. If you look very deep into the background there, you see all those the rain clouds there. Got a nice little poke of sunshine in the middle. And you got these very dark, ominous clouds closer to the camera. Got a little bit of everything here. Kind of looks like a little baby hurricane. Where you got kind of the surrounding, and then you got the little donut hole in the middle. Oh, they're moving the camera. Everyone hang on. I don't know if you guys are watching, but if you can point, is there any way to point that up anymore? Oh, you want to show that over there? Okay. Oh, yeah. That is definitely a much better image. I wanted to see those clouds that were above the camera because the ones above the camera looked pretty crazy. Yeah. Yeah, you see all that right there? That's what I want to see. Hang on, hang on, hang on. Yeah. I want to see that edge. Let me analyze that. Yeah, that's a beautiful shelf cloud there. And what that is kind of more of a gust front. So you're likely in Litchfield. So this camera right now is in Litchfield, courtesy of Grayson County Emergency Management. Thank you again for allowing us to use the videos on our feed. But it's definitely a gust front. It may have a decent wind gust kind of punch with it. And it either indicates a collapsing cell or a developing cell. So again, this is by the way, where that cell is what we're looking at now is the cell that we watched back out here toward Beaver Dam that we were like, hey, we kind of need to watch that as that approaches Litchfield. Look at that, almost a mothership there. By the way, you can see this. So if you take that camera back, I don't know if you guys are watching, but if you take that camera back to where we saw those kind of more ominous clouds to the left there, you can see on the radar itself, look at the gust front that's just in front of the red right here, the inbound winds heading toward the radar versus the outbound winds. If they go back to those clouds or back to the left, or I guess to the west of where he was looking at, you can see on radar exactly what those clouds are doing, which is a gust front. This is definitely going to be a nice little punch of winds that are coming through here. Let's measure real quickly. Probably about 45-ish miles per hour. And I think actually, let me pull this up too. We're going to have all kinds. This is why these cameras are so important. You guys are going to see right now why these cameras are important. Let me go here. Go to the Litchfield camera. Make sure I'm not leaking anything. Okay. So right now, what we're seeing here on the middle left of your screen, if they go back to those other clouds that we were first looking at there, we're going to see these wind speeds tick up. I bet you it's going to be about 40 mile an hour. Yeah. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. We don't cover Tennessee for everyone asking about Tennessee. And right now we're just looking at this camera because we want to see. And here comes the wind speed starting to tick up. We're up to 15 miles an hour now. This is again in Litchfield. We're getting a live view of what's happening on the radar as well as the camera. Now it's up to 18 miles an hour. Again, just 1 second. If everyone asks about questions, just hang off for a couple minutes. Let's look at this camera because this is a really good show into what's happening right now across Kentucky. This is a beautiful view from the Litchfield area, courtesy of Grayson County Emergency Management. I don't know if they happen to be watching because it was kind of ironic they happened to move at the same time I was talking about it. But if they can move that back to the left and watch that front, I think they need to go left just a little bit. And that's obviously the front right there they're looking at now, but the left is where the inflow is at. That is such a cool view. Yeah. Yep. And you see all those kind of rolling, kind of scud kind of clouds right there. It's again, that storm is trying to lift a little bit. You can see how low the storm is. We talked about this earlier when the broadcast first started. These storms are very low to the ground, and that's what's allowing them to try and spin a little bit more today. Look at how low that cloud deck is. That's probably only what? I don't know. I don't even know. Probably a quarter mile off the ground. I mean, that's not high up at all. Yeah, I saw the Venmo donation from earlier. The $10 or I only saw one so far. That's what you're asking about, Brianna. Here's the wind. I said 40 on the wind gust. Right now it's at 24. Let's see again. Again, here's the radar view of what that camera is actually seeing right now. Here's the radar view of what that camera is actually seeing. I know a lot of you have a lot of questions right now. Currently, there are no severe warnings in the state, so we're not missing any information. I just want to take a moment to look at this camera. Right now, we're getting a lot of good information out of this. Has came out of Grayson County. Let's see what the wind gust is now. We're at 20. It looks like the harder part of the cell is going to go just to the north of this camera. We're up to 25. Very curious to see what these wind gusts end up being. To the north of this camera, I bet you it's closer to 40, but at this camera, it's probably closer to 30, 35 when it peaks. Pouring rain allowance. Zach, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Look at that sheet of rain just dumping right behind. That front edge was where all those winds lived. And now look at the back edge just look at the back right of the camera by that water tower just to the right there. You can see those just sheets of rain coming down. And if you look up to the top of the camera, you see all that scud kind of flowing in there. That's the storm trying to kind of flow in and kind of get its pump of energy to really produce. Look at that. That is a thunderstorm there, obviously. But like it's really cool to see on the camera. And this is where the cameras come in. Because now we can verify what we're seeing on the radar. And we have all of this information here. All of this information here. By the way, when we first pulled this up 5 minutes ago, this temperature was at 70. It is now at 62. That's how quick this is dropping. Where is this at? This is in Litchfield. Again, courtesy of Grayson County Emergency Management. Again, right now what we're looking at on this camera, I think they have it pointed. Let me see. Yeah, it's pointed directly at the storm, at least on the site is what it says. So right now we're looking a little bit into here. If they point to the north, you would likely see that gust front a little bit better. Right now we're looking right into the rain shield. That's such a cool view though. Yeah, the winds are ticking down now. So now you've gotten past the gust front here, and now you're getting into the heavier rain showers. I want to see what that temperature ends up at. That would be pretty. I'd be pretty curious to see what that temperature ends up at there. Yeah, so see, here's a normal view of the camera, by the way, on the left side. We have it a little bit more zoomed in on our broadcast, so it's not going to match up perfectly. Really cool view there. Really cool view there. See, to the north of this, by the way, to the north of this camera, you can see all that lightning. So if this camera is looking north, we likely see a lot of lightning strikes starting to show up. Lots of lightning to just to the north of it. So Litchfield just missed out on Litchfield, where this camera is at, just missed out on that cell to the north. So the better winds, the better lightning, everything is just to the north of this. Really, really cool view there. Okay. Let's go ahead and head back to the main screen here. Crazy seeing that water tower fade. Yeah, just the blinding sheets of rain. And you got to imagine driving through this, right? And this is one of the softer cells, by the way, that we've seen today. You got to imagine driving that. You got the blinding rain. You got 20 to 40 mile per hour winds. Really tough to drive through. Really, really tough to drive through. That camera is in Litchfield in Grayson County. Okay, let's go ahead and pull back to our main screen here. Currently, there are still no severe warnings anywhere. I'm going to do a quick scan of the radar there across the state here. Russellville to Auburn, maybe a little burst of 40 to 50 mile per hour winds there. Nothing too crazy. In Litchfield, by the way, we were just talking about that. Probably 30 to 40 mile per hour winds there. That rain line and that storm line is now approaching the Elizabethtown area, where we are seeing 20 to 30 mile per hour winds there. Some heavy rainfall. A couple of cells starting to pop up in front of this. These will eventually be ingested by the line. Let's go ahead and look up here toward eastern and northern Kentucky here, where we see a couple of stronger cells out here. See if anything's happening. Nothing happening in any of those cells there that are of any remote interest. Let's go ahead and go back to the regular view here of our radar. Look at that camera once again. It's still up on the left side of your screen there. I'll pull it back to the full screen here since we're not really missing anything at the moment. You still got your radar up in the middle there, so you're not missing anything. And I'll answer a few questions at this point. Will Bowling Green, Kentucky be affected? Yes, obviously this line will hit you in about 30 to 40 minutes. And you have the same risk as everyone else. Damaging winds is the main risk. 2% tornado risk as well. Again, right now on your screen is the camera out of Litchfield, out of courtesy of Grayson County Emergency Management. By the way, I hope those citizens of Grayson County are thanking their officials for buying cameras like this, because it's going to save a life one day. Yeah, I see that tornado warning up there in Ohio. They definitely have a much better chance of things. Is there a confirmed tornado? No, not Kentucky. Fiber, thank you for the update there out of Sonora. I see people asking about timelines again. This map, by the way, has already been posted to our pages. You can go check your timeline out there. It'll be very close to what we have already posted. Is Tuesday going to be worse? I haven't even looked at it, because my rule of thumb is, when we have events like this and we have situations like this, we pretty much take it one system at a time. By the way, that mesoscale discussion disappeared. So I'm wondering, I don't think they're going to expand this watch. I don't think they're going to expand this watch. No, they just put out a new watch, and it does not include Eastern Kentucky. Now, they could still put out another, they could still put it out. But for right now, the mesoscale discussion has ended and no watch came of it. So usually that's a good indication. By the way, I just saw Mr. Pettis tweet on X that the Union City, Michigan tornado from last night has been given a preliminary rating of EF3 with max winds of 150 mile per hour, which sounds about right. Again, guys, for those of you asking about timeframes, this map with this graphic we made yesterday has been posted onto the page. Everything's been pretty close to it so far. So go check that out. You'll have a good expectation of what to expect there. All right, let's get back over to the main screen here. Look how dark it got in Litchfield. What did that temperature drop to in Litchfield? 61 still, so it's kind of holding at about 60. I thought it might get down to 59. By the way, here is that AI data we've been looking at all day. No tornado risk in Kentucky right now with any of this line. The only tornado risk right now is really into Tennessee and up here toward Ohio where that current tornado warning is. So interesting once again. That's coming back down. The wind risk, however, I'm sure is still pretty elevated in Kentucky. Yeah. So you still have a damaging wind risk. But again, we always take that. Ain't got no gas in it? What are you talking about? Allison Orr looking on the map, looking just like heavy rain and some decent wind gusts. Nothing too insanely crazy. So Marion County is not going to be included in the new watch. Again, they could still issue another one just because the discussion ended and nothing came of it. Doesn't mean that a watch is not going to be issued in the future. It just means that discussion ended and there was not a watch that came out with it. Biker, again, the risk is the same for everyone. All right. Damaging winds, the main potential. 2% tornado risk as well. And once this front edge of the line gets past you, your severe risk is over. Storming out of fuel. Oh, I was like, what is he talking about? I thought you accidentally sent like your text message or something in the comment section. Thank you for everything. Thank you for everything you do here. Such great coverage, helping with people who have panic attacks. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. And thank you to everyone that's sharing and liking the broadcast, helping us grow and helping us to spread the information out. Thank you for doing your part as well. We appreciate that. What is that? I'm going to go full cam on the camera for a second. Okay. I'm tripping. I thought I saw a funnel cloud, but it's just a little bit of scud in there. We're good. We're good. Yes, this line will eventually head into Lexington. This line's going to hit everyone in the state, guys. It's going to hit everyone in the state. Windy as heck in Litchfield. Thank you for the update, Alicia. We appreciate you. Look at those temperatures just crash with that storm coming. Let me look at the difference here. Whoa, one zoom went in that far? That's crazy. Look at the difference, though. Here's where the storms have already obviously been. 60, 61 degrees. 80, 70, 79, 83, 82, 82 out here. So a solid 20-degree difference. And again, that's why your severe risk is over once the front edge of that line comes through, because you immediately lose everything. Dada? Samuel, every time he sees me on the camera, he goes, Dada? 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 Okay, go do a quick radar scan here. I don't really see anything. Don't really see anything. Okay, we're going to look at some things here. And if this continues on, we're going to end the live coverage because... Okay, there's definitely a little bit of cape. Is that mid-layer? Is that mixed layer? Yeah. Okay, surface-based. A little bit of cape there for these storms to work with. A little bit of shear on the northern half toward Ohio. No helicity, really. I mean, yeah. I think these storms are going to struggle, guys. I think they are. I mean, here's the tornado index. Hardly anything in Kentucky. Here's a better view of it. You can actually see there's negative energy in the state. Let's look at some vorticity here. There's a little bit of vorticity just to the east side of this upper line. So this line right here from Taylorsville to Elizabethtown. There's just not a whole lot for these storms to work with. I mean, there's just not. Despite the, you know what I think it is? Let me see. No. That wouldn't really do it either. Yeah. I wonder if... Yeah. I think they're overmixing. So overmixing in a storm system is basically when there's too much moisture, right? When there's too much moisture and everything kind of becomes cold pooled. We start getting too much rainfall. You don't really get the opportunity for... The storm doesn't really get the opportunity to really go severe before it just gets dominated by rainfall. And what we're looking at now on the screen is what's called a 700 millibar, which is about, I don't know, what is that? A mile and a half up, something like that. I suck at remembering all those, but about a mile and a half, 2 miles up, something like that. And when you see this number over 70, I mean, it's it's very wet up there. There's really no dry air. Let me click on a sound. Let me click on a sounding here. Yeah, so if we follow this line up, so here's a good example. You all are getting taught a lesson today, whether you like it or not, because I think it's a really cool to look at this stuff. Where did it go? I just had a good example, and now it's gone. So here's a good example. So we're following the red and green line. The red is your temperature line. The green is your dew point or your moisture line. And here you are at the ground at the bottom. And as you go up, you're going up into the atmosphere. If you're looking for severe weather and you're playing devil's advocate, you need some sort of dry air in here, like to kind of take over. So for example, if I go up here to like Ohio, let's get a better example here. See how they have a little bit of, where's that tornado warning at? It is, okay, South Central Ohio. Where am I at here? It's like right there is where that tornado warning's at. See how they have a pocket of dry air? See how that dew point line suddenly jumps to the left? That's dry air above the storm system, forcing it down to the surface and creating a severe potential. Whereas if you come in here in Kentucky, right, you don't really have any really solid jumps. And by the time you do, the moisture jumps back to the other way. So there's really not an opportunity for these storms to really get severe before they're just turning rain dominant. So that's why, I mean, we made the post earlier today. I don't know if you guys saw it or not. You know, and we definitely have had a few severe warnings. But we made the post earlier today before we went live. I'm just noticing, there it is. Here it is. I said I really have a hard time believing that robust severe weather is possible today. Simply put, we're lacking storm fuel for now, and that's leading to something what we call cold pooling. That's what I said back at 10:40 a.m., and that's what we're seeing right now is a lot of cold pooling happening because there's too much moisture, right? So again, you know, I think it's kind of going as we expected here. Which again, by the way, we pointed out that on this post, you kind of see here, we pointed out that circle in southwestern Kentucky is where we thought the more imminent threat was. We set it up here in the description. Well, that is exactly where that tornado warning happened, the 2 severe thunderstorm warnings happened, and it's also where the considerable severe thunderstorm warning happened as well. As soon as it got out of that yellow circle, look, it turned back into a regular thunderstorm, right? And then we also said that out here in eastern Kentucky is where the potential for another round of severe weather may be possible between 3 to 5 p.m. if the storm line kind of gets itself back together. And if you look out here, we have a storm line starting to develop there that may be getting its act together. So yeah, we may or may not know what we're talking about. Just maybe. Just maybe. Look, I get a lot of flack, and rightfully so. So sometimes whenever we do accidentally get something right, it's kind of fun to talk about it, okay? Forgive me. No, the Ratcliffe severe threat is over. Pretty cold in Elizabethtown, Hodgenville Road area. Yeah, the that gust front's really gotten through there. Your severe threat should be pretty much ending here soon as well. Going to be good. You know, Richmond, Kentucky is a lot like the rest of the state. You know, damaging winds, the main risk as that storm line gets closer to you this afternoon. 2% tornado risk also exists there. Yeah, we can see that Litchfield camera there. That rain is coming down incredibly hard. No, Alicia, it's going exactly as we thought, by the way. The storm was, there was never really going to be a whole lot of fuel for this storm system, right? Because it came in the middle of the morning. It's becoming rain dominant. There was never going to be a whole lot of fuel for the storm system. Someone was just making a joke. It's already in Litchfield for whoever was asking about that. Someone asked if it's going to Litchfield. It's already there. What about Frankfort? It's the same thing as everywhere else in the state. Damaging winds, the main risk. 2% tornado risk there as well. Well, the rain and storms in front of the main line weaken the line when it hits in the northeast. I do think so. I do think so. How are you feeling about the London Corbin area? Same as the rest? Yeah, it's the same line, so it's going to be the same risk for everybody. Will it hit Smiths Grove? Yes. This will hit everywhere in Kentucky. Thank you, Macy. By the way, for those of you that may be just now tuning in, asking if it's going to hit your area, take a look at this line. Take a look at that line. Canada to Mexico. So yeah, I think it's going to hit your part of Kentucky too. I mean, it is a monster of a line. A monster of a line. Yes, Louisville has no severe threat. Shepherdsville has no severe threat. Can you check the velocity? Yeah, I'll check it for you. Yeah, absolutely nothing happening. Absolutely nothing. The only thing I'm seeing, let me make sure before I put my mouth. Yeah, the only thing I'm seeing is there's a little bit of a notch here, just to the east of Litchfield, heading up toward Magnolia and Bonnieville. But even that is extremely, extremely marginal. Extremely, extremely marginal. That's really all I'm seeing when it comes to anything. I mean, there's just it's really not close right now. Is there a tornado coming to Litchfield? No. So is Bowling Green clear tornado wise? Probably need another 20 minutes for an all clear there. How's Bowling Green looking? Looking like just like heavy rain and a few decent wind gusts right now. Are we going to talk about what's happening in BG or no? Steph, I've already mentioned Bowling Green probably 7 times over the last 30 seconds. I don't know what else to tell you. After that red orange hits the area, will we just have like rain showers, no severe possibilities? Sorry, just tuning in. That's okay, Jade. Yeah. Once that front edge gets past you, it's pretty much just rainfall after that. No severe expectations. Are these non-severe storms moving into Ashland area soon? These are probably gonna go just north of Ashland. You might get clipped by the southern one. But yeah, probably in about an hour or so. How's Murray looking? No more severe threat there. How fast is moving? About 40 miles an hour. What about Cave City tonight? Probably just some more rainfall. How bad will it hit Smiths Grove? Once again, for Smiths Grove, it's again the same risk as everyone else. Damaging winds, the main priority concern. 2% tornado risk there as well. Were there tornado sirens in Elizabethtown for Harlan County? No, there were not. I don't have access to that camera, Shauna. Getting real dark in northern Warren County. Yeah, that's those heavier, more saturated clouds starting to move in there. Nothing to be overly concerned about. Just some heavier rainfall beginning to move in. I just mentioned Bowling Green for guys. I love y'all, and we got a lot of y'all to Bowling Green. But please, I've mentioned Bowling Green 10 times in the last probably minute and a half. The answer has not changed. I love you all, but it has not changed. It is non-severe. It is a strong thunderstorm. Take a breath. Yeah, Aqua Marie, that's exactly correct. Just some heavier rainfall and some decent winds going through there. Is it expected to rain the rest of the evening in E-Town trying to clean my chicken coop? Yeah, he probably got several hours of rainfall ahead, my friend. What about E-Town? No more severe threat there. Just some heavier rainfall for the next few hours. Exactly, Pochu. Like I love my friends out of Bowling Green to death. Love going there. But guys, I've answered. It's the same answer. It has not changed over the last 2 minutes. What about Somerset? The same threat as the rest of the state. Damaging winds when that line gets to you is the main priority concern. There is also a 2% tornado risk with it as well. Is Russellville clear? Please tell me so I can my friend can chill out. Yes, your severe threat is over in Russellville. That main line is already past you. You're getting the back edge of it right now. Probably about 3 more minutes and you'll be all clear. Are they expanding the watch? There was a discussion to expand the watch. Once that discussion has ended and there has not been a watch expanded yet. Okay, my Bowling Green people, here you go. We're gonna sit right here in Warren County until this passes. No one says a word, and don't ever tell me I didn't take care of your place because we're sitting right here on Bowling Green. You guys have bullied me into submission. It don't smell like naders out there. There we go. That's the type of meteorology I like to hear. Brownsville, you'll be all clear in probably about 5 minutes. There is no rotation here right now. There's no wind gust. I mean, the wind gusts are probably about, yeah, probably about 35 miles an hour. So you're still about 25 miles an hour off of being severe in Bowling Green. Y'all going to sit here and think about what you did. What about Cave City? The threats over there are pretty much, I believe. Let me see. Hold on. I'm not allowed to move off of Bowling Green. Hold on, I'm not allowed to move off of Bowling Green. I'll answer everyone else's questions in a minute. The grass is growing at BG. Look, hey, listen, I understand that BG suffered a lot of severe weather lately, last few years. But it's just crazy. I answered Bowling Green 15 times within 3 minutes, and I'm still getting yelled at for not talking about Bowling Green. So we're going to sit here and watch Bowling Green. Are you and the kids clear of strep throat? Yes. Yes. Could tell in my knees. But we gotta have some fun. We gotta have some fun, guys. Hopefully y'all don't take it to heart. But look, again, genuinely, guys, Bowling Green, Warren County, listen up, please. There's nothing happening here. There is nothing happening here. No, I mean, you guys know I would tell you. Most of you have followed me long enough. There is genuinely nothing happening here. Like, not even remarkably close. There's no correlation drops. There's no inflow versus outflow winds, or inbound versus outbound winds, I should say. There's no hell cores showing up. The storm is not tall. Nothing popping there. I mean, there's nothing. Okay? I agree, Aquamarine. Okay, we're going to move off of Bowling Green now, my friends, out of the Warren County area. We're going to move off of that for now because I assure you there's nothing there. It's just a thunderstorm. Matter of fact, I don't even see a lightning strike near Bowling Green. Okay, so it's genuinely just a thunder shower. Okay, let's go ahead and move on here. Brownsville, you got some stronger, kind of a lot like Bowling Green. Really nothing happening there. Some lightning out on the front side there. Moving up here toward E-Town to Hodgeville area. Stronger cells starting to show up there. Let's go and check the velocity out on that bad boy. Yeah, now see, this is something we would look for a little bit closer here, right? So again, just a comparison. Here's Bowling Green, right? Very dull, very blank, very bland. Up here, you see how you have that little, it's a lot tighter right there, a little bit more vibrant. It's still nothing crazy, by the way, for those of you in Hodgeville, maybe freaking out listening to me explain this. It's still nothing crazy, but this is much closer to being something of noteworthy. But it's still not really there. Now this, just south of Barstown, is definitely a gust front that's starting to develop here on that side there. You see that little nudge out, but we're lacking a lot of other ingredients, so that probably will go back down. And it's still just a heavy rainfall for most of you. So a little above Georgetown is just rain. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Dude, you're a liar. I'm headed to my house in Bowling Green right now. My house just passed me in the way there. Yeah. Bonneville. Someone remind me where Bonneville's out again because I'm blanking. Isn't it right here? Yes. Oh my gosh, I remembered. So many vills right here. I just get lost. Yeah, again, same risk as everybody else. Damaging winds the main priority. 2% tornado risk there as well. Got about 20 minutes or so. You got to kind of get lucky right now, scooting just past you at the moment going to your north. But about 15 to 20 minutes or so until you start getting some more of that wind activity. Still nothing too crazy. By the way, for our northern Kentucky friends, again, just a lot of rainfall up there. I'm trying to look. I don't really see anything too crazy. Yeah. Is everything already heavy passes in the range? Yeah, you're just more so on the light rainfall for now. Katie, thank you very much. I appreciate that. We lost power for a minute between Brownsville and Litchfield. I did see a little bit. We were kind of watching that, weren't we? Just a little bit to the south there. So you're talking about probably the storm cell. It's over Bonneville now. There was a little bit there. Yeah, see a little nudge out. There was a little bit there where there may have been some decent wind gust occurring. Let's see here. 22. 18. It's about 40 miles an hour. Probably just enough to knock the power out for a second. Did it come back on? Did it come back on already? Probably just enough to freak the pole out for a second. Power just flickered in E-Town. Thank you for that update there. Escape City in the clear. Not just yet. You saw there. You got a little pop up there now, and you got the actual main line. Probably about 40 minutes out or so. The lights are flickering in New Haven. Thank you for that update there. Sorry to hear that, my friend. Or Sherry. I don't know if I'm pronounced that incorrectly. I'm sorry. Is it just rain in E-Town for the evening? That's correct. A little rain, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder, a few little wind gusts. Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. I want to see what those peak wind gusts are now. Yeah, we're still sitting. Okay, we're still sitting about mid-30s on the peaks for most. Jennifer, thank you for the update. Sorry to hear that. Yeah, loud here and snoring out. Yeah, a lot of lightning around this kind of middle portion of the line, as you can see here on the radar. A lot of lightning just kind of sitting around the middle portion of Kentucky here. So this is going to sound a lot worse than what it actually is. What is going on outside, dude? Jeez. Freaking birds are just screaming. Your class reunion is tonight? Hopefully you got an umbrella. By the way, I don't know if you guys can tell because the rain's kind of covering it. They are shaving off the watch as that front edge passes. It's just a little bit of a delay. But you can remember Hopkinsville, Madisonville, Greenville, and all those places were kind of included in that as well. They are shaving off the watch as it's kind of passing, which I love because I say it all the time. It causes that warning fatigue, that watch fatigue when we leave watches up too long and have too many warnings. So I love it. The NWS has started to do this more over the last couple of years instead of just leaving them up. Jennifer, thank you. 10 years. Yeah, we had our 10-year last year. I didn't go. Look, I didn't like 95% of the people in my school, so why would I go to a reunion? You know what I mean? Well, I also watch the local weather station. I never ask what's going on in my area. I'm not going to overwhelm George with the same questions. Sean, if you all want to ask, that's fine. The only thing that I ask is if I obviously have mentioned your area or an area very close to you, maybe let's allow time for another area to get answered. That's the only thing that sometimes gets me frustrated. But I do understand, some of the storm anxiety and some of the storm trauma some people do have. It's a very real thing. It is a very real thing. So I do try and answer as much as possible, but like that segment right there where I answered about Bowling Green 10 times within a 45-second span, it's like, okay, come on. You know what I mean? In a very nice and respectful and loving way. It's like, okay, come on. There's nothing here, guys. Let's take a breath. Is Barberville going to get any severe weather? Very, very close. Very, very close, but probably more so just on the strong side. It's looking nasty in Franklin right now. You get a nice little storm trying to kind of push in from your west there. Non-severe, though. That's the good news. I would be off by now, but I'm just kind of watching this kind of Magnolia, Bonneville area. Just kind of watching that segment of the line. Everything else just looks completely fine. Yeah, just completely fine. There's nothing anywhere. And I think the fact that we haven't gotten a severe thunderstorm watch out for the eastern Kentucky area kind of speaks to the fact that these storms are probably beginning to dwindle down. And the development of this line is going to lead to the weakening of this environment out here. And we already know these storms are weakening, right? By the time they all merge together in this area, you're talking about all these circles here. By the time they merge all in that area, you're talking about just probably a dead-on-arrival storm system. So it really simply leaves this area as like the area to just kind of keep an eye on. I still don't think it's a high or anything super crazy. It's just kind of something to keep an eye on, right? This area, there's not enough storm energy there. This area, there could be something, but at that point, how are the storms going to look? I mean, they're going to be pretty worked over. So it's a big question on that. This is really the only area left to me that maybe has some potential But even that, it's not great. It's not really that great. So to me, guys, I told you guys this last night. I told you guys this morning. I don't think this is a big event. I think I said on last night's broadcast. I think there may be a few severe warnings, and that's it. Right now, I think we've had 3 or 4 severe thunderstorm warnings and a tornado warning. So it's pretty much gone kind of as we expected so far. Is it going to get bad in Russell County, Kentucky? Once again, Christian, it's the same risk for everywhere in the state tonight, my friend. As that front edge of the line comes to you, damaging winds will be the main risk. 2% tornado risk. As that front edge of the line passes you, you are now your severe window shuts very quickly. Shuts very quickly. Is it going to weaken any before it makes it to Somerset? I think it pretty much just stays where it's at right now. Yeah, just not seeing a whole lot at the moment. I'm still just kind of watching though because it's just this one freaking area right here that just won't kind of make up its mind on what it wants to do. Just kind of looking real quickly. There's a lot of see this blue starting to work its way into that is negative storm fuel. So again, everything's kind of pointing toward this storm system starting to dwindle down. There is some cape down here in the bottom, like southern half of Kentucky, but it's not a whole lot. It's not a whole lot. And also the better wind shear is to the north of it. So what we have now. So let me kind of draw this out here for you because I think there's still some anxiety going on here, and I think we want to kind of calm everyone down here. If you know where you're at on the map, pay attention real quickly. So we have the better wind energy here. The better wind energy is here. We're going to mark this with W. Okay. The better storm fuel is here. We're going to mark this with F. Okay. In between that is typically where they mix, I should say, where they overlap is where you would have the best severe chances, right? The problem with that is on this particular situation, they're not overlapping. So you have one area that has one ingredient. You have another area that has one ingredient. There's no overlap. This is probably why there is no severe watch out here because we don't have any overlap. Out here in Western Kentucky, let me go ahead and click out here and kind of zoom, kind of come out a little bit. Out here in Western Kentucky, the reason this performed earlier really well in this area is because there was about 300 SRH, which is a lot of wind energy. There's enough shear, plenty of shear. And there was about 500 joules per kilogram of cape, which is not a whole lot, but it's enough to spark a storm. They overlapped with each energy metric there. They overlapped. And the storm line wasn't rain dominant yet. That's why this performed. And that's why you don't see this performing right now, because you don't have an overlapping of the ingredients. You have to have all of the ingredients. You can't just have one. You can't just have two. You have to have all the ingredients. And right now, the eastern half of Kentucky, ironically enough, because it was supposed to be the more severe half, and it still could get that way, right? But as of right now, you have one area seeing one ingredient, another area seeing one ingredient, and there's no overlap. So you're missing one on each side. So hopefully that helps answer some of the questions as to like what's happening here. Amanda, thank you for your 45 stars. I appreciate that. So do you think they will overlap? No, probably not, because you have the storm line being pulled to the north here. See up here in Ohio. By the way, see up here in Ohio. Let's go ahead and take a look at Ohio. So if you look here on the wind energy map, it's marked. They have it. Down here in Kentucky, we're empty, right? If you also look up in Ohio at the Cape, they have Cape. They have storm fuel. So they have a huge overlap there. What's happening in Ohio? Severe storms, right? But if you look into Kentucky, right? Go back over here. We have storm fuel in Kentucky. We have no more wind energy at the moment. At the moment, anyway. Of course, that could change, but we just don't really have a whole lot. So again, you might still see some instances of damaging winds. A couple of severe warnings are still possible, but I just think today's not a big deal, and that's what I've been saying since last night. Where was the tornado warning? I just hopped on not long ago. It was back out here toward Murray. It was Murray to like, where was it? Somewhere back over here. Murray to like Sedalia, I think is where it was. And then we had a considerable severe threat on a 70-mile-per-hour severe thunderstorm warning in Hopkinsville toward Cadiz. And then that severe warning continued on to Elkton, and then that ended. And that cell is now into Bowling Green, but that cell has since kind of worked itself over. And now you have this new line here. Now, I will say, if you did not have this new line here, if this was gone, then I would be a little bit more concerned with this portion of the line as it moved east. But since you have this line here and it's performing and it's taking a little bit of energy away from everything, well, now this area is starting to cool down, right? So if we go over here, we go to look at the temperatures, just real simply, look at what's happening. The temperatures are coming down. Now, you do still have one real robust pocket where it's possible. And ironically, I gotta pull this back up here. Ironically, it's the same area we already circled back at 10:40 a.m. 4 hours ago, far eastern Kentucky. Now, that's the only area where there could be some potential overlap later on today. But again, it's kind of unseen right now. And the SPC did not issue a watch for that area, which kind of tells you that they're not really buying into it. And I mean, not everyone's perfect, but if the SPC is telling you they're not really buying into it, then, maybe it's not really something you should buy into either. Just still, this freaking Bonneville area continues to be a little bit just nudgy there. Yeah, but it's just not going to do anything. Okay, at this point, I think I'm going to take a break, guys. We've had no severe warnings for about about 30 minutes here. I feel like I've explained everything as much as I can. And you guys know how I am. If it's not dangerous on a severe weather day, I don't want to be live because I want you guys to know if we are live, it means there's something that's imminent. Right now, there's nothing imminent. There's nothing close to it. We've checked several times here. I've verified several times here. We've looked throughout AI data, which is completely empty for Kentucky right now. We've looked throughout the actual mesoscale data, which is, has a lot of gaps as well. So again, I will continue to do radar updates. If things do get dangerous again, we will be back live again. I do want to remind you that once that front edge of these lines of storm here gets through your area, your severe window is over. So for example, the edge of the front the front edge of the line is here. So everything behind it is all clear, right? Everything in front of it still has a low end severe shot, right? And that severe shot is going to be mainly damaging winds. There is also a 2% tornado risk, which is obviously very low, but it's not zero. Yeah, so I feel like I've explained everything as much as I can here. I'm going to take a break, save some of my voice. We've been live for close to 3 hours now. So again, if anything does pop back up, I will be live here with you. Until then, I will do radar post updates on Facebook and X. So make sure you follow us on those platforms. My husband said sounds are going off in Paducah. It's got to be a test or something because there's not even anything remotely out there. So just a heads up on that. You're in an RV in Campbellsville. It's probably not the brightest idea because you still got 25 to 45 mile per hour winds coming through there later on. Probably need to find something more sturdy, whether it's severe or not. Okay, I'm going to take a break here for a little bit. I'll keep you guys updated through posts on X or Facebook. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in, all the likes and the shares and all the questions. I appreciate that a ton. Thank you for trusting us. Until next time, stay safe, Kentucky.